All right, there we go. We're live. How's it going? It is, let's see, I've just crossed 25,000 subs, and I thought I'd go live and just chat with everybody and connect. So I'm learning to do live. Bear with me, but let me know if you can hear me. It should be working though, right? All right, let's see if I can see my chat down here. There you go. AJP718. Can you hear me? That's the first thing, right? Number one like. Yeah, hi. All right. Antonio, can you hear me? Thumbs up, right? Missed your last few streams. Salty, there you go. This is going to be a long live stream. I've got a lot of things going on here. So, okay. There's my mom. Everybody, SJ, Sally Spires. That's my mom. She is a young lady. Oh, Edgar, there you go. How's it going from Jacksonville? We're at 25,000 subs. And honest to goodness truth, I never thought the YouTube channel would be that big. So I thought I would just go live and connect with everybody so I can see you guys all down there. And yeah, okay. So there we go. We got people coming in. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is Suzanne. Hey, what's going on? Not a driver, but that's no worries. Salty, what's going on? So we've got a lot going on. I've got a chat down here that I'm trying to pay attention to. But I found a bunch of questions that you have asked me in through email, through messages, whatever. And I thought I'd answer a lot of your questions. And I thought I'd put them up here on the screen. So this is going to be a little bit of work for me. Bear with me as I try to do this. I'm going to jump back in the chat, though, and say hello to everybody. All right. So AJP, shouting out my mom. Thank you so much. Salty, congratulations. Thank you from Canada. Shout out Canada. MBA from Seattle. What's going on? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to kind of cue each question from you guys. I'm going to look in the chat every now and then and respond to your questions in the chat. But I've got a bunch of questions I'm going to put up on the screen. Let's see if I can get this right here. So I'm using some new software. Thanks to ChatGPT, I am able to do this. But let's see if I get this done right. All right, so we got that. Bear with me as I try to do this. You guys are all very patient. Thank you so much. And if you could see my screen, you can see the first question from Keith, hopefully. I'm going to look down here, see if I can see it. There you go, Keith. So I've got a bunch of questions from a lot of you. So I'm going to use your questions to kind of spark this conversation. So 25,000 subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And I'm just going to go through your questions. Keith, as a member, and you could tell they're channel members by the blue star and the red number, anything like that. He says, do you think that Tesla will let us drive under their program like Uber, but Tesla? And Keith, I think what you're asking, if I were to clarify what you're asking, is that will we be able to be an Uber driver or a Tesla driver picking up rideshare passengers in our Tesla on the Tesla app? My gut feeling toward that, Keith, is that we've got about a 1 in 10 chance of that happening. Here's what I think is going to happen. The Tesla company has the ability to create an app, and they can put out 1 million robotaxis on the market. They say they're going to sell them to the general public, but why would they? They can probably just keep them within themselves, and then instead of trying to manage a bunch of other users, just provide the service themselves. Now, I don't think I'm the norm. I think most Tesla fans, people like me, believe that Tesla is going to let them buy 5, 10, 20, 30 robotaxis. Maybe. They might do it for large groups, but probably not for small groups. So there you go. So that's an example of how we're going to do this. And I've got like 100 questions. I went through all of my comments on the channel, and I found a bunch of those questions. And I'm going to jump into your let's see here. I'm gonna jump into your comments here on the screen. So let's see here. So TCH 5802 says, how does driving Uber aggressively in a good market compare to over the road trucking as a driver, not owner financially? I have no idea. That's a good question. I would assume being an Uber driver makes less money than a trucker, but then have you been to a truck stop? Truckers look pretty rough, so maybe they're not making that good of money. All right, so there you go. There's that question. Let's jump to the next question here. All right. William, another subscriber, member of the channel, says, Levi, did you put a new battery in my Tesla when it broke down for maintenance, or the Tesla, did you dispose of it? Okay, here's what happened to my Tesla. My Tesla broke down at 158,000 miles, and it took them 45 days to fix it. They tested a bunch of wires, and what it looks like, it was the power conversion system, basically the AC-DC converter in the Tesla. The Tesla is set up to do DC, around DC, direct current, and the AC-DC allows you to charge it at a direct current supercharger or at an alternating current non-supercharger like at my house. So when that part went out, they finally fixed it. It cost me right around $3,000 to get it fixed, and I still love my Tesla. So there's that. All right, let's see if we can go back to some more questions here. All right, we've got... J-Dog says, how do I handle road rage? I'm really bad. J-Dog, I am really bad at road rage. So one of the things that I do is I make videos for a living, and I have my Red Tiger dash camera that you guys can, sponsor the channel. Shout out to Red Tiger, that records everything that I do. And so after I get done driving and I want to make a video, I scroll through all of my dash cam footage. And there are so many times I'm scrolling through my dash camera footage and I'm just like, mother fricka. I'm just yelling at the people driving their cars. I think what it is when I'm Uber driving, I'm trying to move as fast, as safely as possible, but fast as possible to make as much money as possible. And what ends up happening, and if you're an Uber driver, you know what I mean. There'll be times you're getting up to a light, you can make that light, but the person in front of you is going slow, as an example, and you're like, go, don't miss that light. And that extra minute or two at that light feels like it cost you $1 million. So there you go, J-Dog. That's my anger management. I'm not good at it at all. Millie, all right. Felt seen with the 15 seconds video. Decision fatigue is real. Oh, no doubt. Millie, thank you so much for joining the live chat here. It is 100% something we're going to talk about here later. So again, thank you so much. I've got 25,000 subs. Today is just a live stream celebration of that. I'm super excited. And I went through all of, not all of them. I went through a lot of questions on the YouTube channel. I thought I would answer them. So let's go to the next one here. All right. The next one is from he said, don't get upset, bro. Another member of the channel. Thank you. Shout out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't get upset. Says, good to know more about the Cybertruck. He's responding to my Cybertruck video. Can you point to your previous video about Uber insurance, or can you talk about it? I got hit by a deer. Did you get hit by a deer, or did you hit a deer? And could not drive for 3 weeks when my car is still not fixed. It cost $2,500 deductible. It hurts. Regret that I did not have rideshare coverage on my own insurance. Okay, I've hit 3 deer. Never while I've been Uber driving, but I've hit 3 deer. I live in Deer Haven, or it's like there's so many deer around here, and it's always at the worst possible time, right? You never really want to hit a deer. One time it took my 13 weeks to fix my Prius one time, $13,000. It was horrible. When it comes to Uber insurance, there's a couple of ways to look at it. First of all, it's super complicated because each one of us has our own personal insurance. Some of us have commercial auto insurance in addition to the Uber insurance. So it's like 3 levels of insurance. And each one of them is going to want to not pay the claim. And so we as drivers have to find ways to make sure that it's clear what we were doing at that any given point in time. So if we're just using our car for our personal self, obviously we go through our personal insurance. If we're Uber driving, i.e. in periods 2 or 3, when we have passengers either in the car or on our way to pick up the car, Uber does have some ability to repair your vehicle, but it's like a $2,500 deductible. And then period 1, kind of the big gray area, is when we have one of the apps on, but we don't have a ride. We're not either going to pick somebody up or we're not, have somebody in our car. When it comes to period 1, that $2,500 deductible may or may not happen. I've heard different cases each way. I've never actually had to use Uber's insurance. I find the conversation of insurance quite boring. Here's what I recommend. Number 1, if you can, get a ride share policy with your current private insurer. Go to your insurer and say, hey, look, I'm driving for Uber, Lyft, whatever, DoorDash. Do you have a rider that you can put onto my policy that will cover that $2,500 deductible from Uber or Lyft or wherever it might be? Once you have that, that's probably the best solution. The second solution is what I did, self-insure. I have a savings account that I set up an LLC. So all of my Uber money goes into a bank account that's under my LLC. Then I take money out of that checking account and I put it into a savings account to cover things like repairs, maintenance, depreciation on my vehicle. And the first thing I did was every time I earned money, I put all of that money into a savings account to make sure I had at least $2,500. So when my car does get in an accident and Uber doesn't cover it, I have money, cash set aside. Some other things that I've done is I've set up a credit card in my business name. That helps. So I can pay with a credit card. It has a $5,000 cash limit on my credit card. So there's other ways to handle it, and that can also offset it. The bottom line is Uber insurance is super complicated. It's super boring, and I don't want my channel to be about that. So sorry. Don't get upset with me, bro. Let me jump into the chat here. Okay, let's see here. All right. Have you ever considered Shaco? I think that's what we said here. So Shaco says, have you ever considered doing private rides instead of just Uber and Lyft? Okay, now, and by the way, EV lover DP, I'm going to talk to your question here in a second here. Let me answer Shaco. Shaco, the reason why I don't like private rides is because it's really complicated here in the state of New York to do that. You have to be an Uber driver, you have to have private plates. But to do private rides, you have to have livery plates. To get livery plates, you have to set up commercial auto insurance. So for me to do private rides legally, I would have to have a separate vehicle with livery plates with commercial auto insurance on that vehicle. Excuse me. So it's just too complicated. And honest to goodness truth, I did have an opportunity to do private ride business. I'll do more in-depth analysis of that later. But I had a client that was going to pay me $25,000 a year up front. So it was a retainer client, and it was exciting. It was good. I was going to go buy another vehicle, but the insurance was so expensive. It was like $700-800 a month just for that insurance. And then I'd have to have 2 vehicles. So one vehicle to do Uber and another vehicle to do private rides. I've heard of other drivers saying they don't have to do that. Honest to goodness truth, it was too expensive and too much of a risk for me to try to figure it out. I like Uber driving because of the randomness of it. When you started doing private clients, I know the people, and there's a little bit more money involved in it, but it's not enough money to incentivize me to want to do that. Okay, let's see here. We got EV lovers. See if I can turn this Mac OS screen off. Transition. Boy, I'm learning my best on how to do this. All right. You guys are really patient with me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go to Mac, or I'm sorry, EV lovers. In my recent video, showed 220 offers in 5 hours. I might see 25 offers in 5 hours. How do you know? That's that's how I would answer your statement. How do you know you would only see 25 offers in 5 hours? The reason why I was able to see 220 some odd offers in 5 hours is because I didn't take one. Does that make sense? So if you're not on a trip, they're going to continue to offer you trips. I just kept declining, declining, declining. Once you go on a trip for a period of time, you're not going to receive any offers. So if you took, like, hypothetically, a 30-minute ride, that of that 5 hours, 30 of those minutes, you may not necessarily see an offer. So to do that experiment, you have to have the ability to sit parked for 5 hours and just decline rides, not accept one ride. And I say the ability, there's like the financial ability, like you don't need to make that money for that period of time. The second thing is maybe some markets have more strict requirements on acceptance rates. I know, like, in different countries, like, you have to have a certain acceptance rate. So it just depends. But that's what I was able to do. That's why I was able to see 220 some odd offers in a period of, like, I don't know, 12 hour or 5 hours. And I think a lot of us think, well, I don't get that many offers as well. It's just because I didn't accept one. So there's that answer to that question. Let me see here. This is really kind of a pain in the butt here. All right, I think I got this thing. Let's transition to that. All right, let's go. Next question. All right. All right. We got next question here. Let's see if we can shrink this thing down here. You guys are patient with me. I appreciate it. I am not a live streamer. I really like being able to edit my videos on my own. All right. D Dennis. There you go. I have a 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 5. Charge at home and average 200 miles per day, and my electricity cost at home is $4 a day. I must ask, though, I pay $530 a month for commercial auto insurance with Allstate. Do you use commercial auto insurance? There you go. Same question. Do I have commercial auto insurance? No. Again, I do not have that. But Dennis 0, thank you so much for being a member. That's good. All right, let's go to the next question here. All right. Stanley, one of the more common people here, a member. Thank you so much for being a member of Thrive. Says, I have a question. After the 2 minutes, can you cancel without a cancellation strike, or only after the 10-minute total? Also, how long to cancel medical scheduled rides, mini no-shows? Honestly, I think it differs between each market, but the reality is I just cancel when it's time to cancel. I don't really care too much about the cancellation strike. I've seen people with 11, 12, 15% cancellation rates. Mine's around 2%. I don't cancel that often, but when I do cancel, it's for a good reason. The majority of the reasons I cancel for would be the mother or father doesn't have a car seat. It's pretty common. Number two thing is it's super busy. There's surges going on. And if there's a surge going on, I'm going to go ahead and cancel if you're not out within the next minute, because I know I can get another ride right away. So that's my main reason why I cancel. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, we're going to go over here. We're going to try to continue to improve my live stream skills here. Thank you for all your patience. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's see what's going on in chat. What's everybody? We got 19 people here. you guys are watching. I appreciate it. Again, this is 25,000 subs. I am shocked. I'm super appreciative, and I wanted to, um, just reach out and just say thank you so much. Let's take a look here. Have you heard about Hood Uber, where busy people advertise rides on Facebook? No, I have not done that. J-Dog says, if you stream more during your deliveries, that would be cool. That'd be kind of cool. I've tried to do that one time. It's really difficult. I'm not really good at multitasking, as you can tell by my ability to manage this live stream. Kay Hughley, thank you so much for being a member of Thrive. I super appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see here. Bog Art says, just add rideshare insurance to your personal policy. It's $300 a month. It depends. Each state's a little bit different in each person's insurance policy, so we don't know if that really works. J-Dog says, do a Sean Connery impersonation. The Rock. Is that? That's the only thing I know. Sean Connery in The Rock, right? Sean Connery is Bond. James Bond. But he never had a beard, right? In James Bond, so that's the best I can do. J-Lo, fan club, thank you. Howdy, enjoy your commentary. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's jump to the next question. Let's keep going here. All right. Lisa U-Turn, one of my favorite people. Lisa is here in the city of Syracuse. Lisa has her own Discord server that I've been able to join it a few times. It's really fun. It says, when I type in GigU, Maestro comes up. I hope that's a mistake. Do you have a link? Hey, GigU is one of my favorite sponsors of this channel. FYI, big news, by the way. For those of you watching the live stream, this is really super awesome. Listen to this. GigU is having me come down to Miami like the 8th through the 13th of September. So just in a few weeks, I'm going to be in Miami to do some driver meetups. So you're the first people to hear about this. I'm booking the flights here in the next day or so. So I'm going to be in Miami. I might sneak up to Orlando. And we're going to do driver meetups, just thanks to GigU. So Lisa's question asks those, when I type in GigU, Maestro comes up. Here's what I think is happening. Lisa is an iPhone user. GigU currently only works on Android. So there's the GigU phone right here, my GigU phone. It's on Android. Here's the really cool thing, though. GigU is coming to iOS. How cool is that? So that's super awesome, right? So that means that you and me now can use GigU on our iPhones, and I can get rid of this Android. So that's the big news, right? Number one, I am going to be in Miami to do a driver meetup. I think there's a couple other creators coming. I'm not sure, but we're going to go just do a couple of meetups with drivers in Miami. And then that is to announce the big iPhone release for the GigU app. Now you can go to the GigU website and sign up today for their email list to subscribe. So that's what I recommend. But I'm super happy with GigU. They're a sponsor of the channel, and I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Please, drivers, use apps like GigU to make sure that the financial decisions on the trips that you take really are the right math. So there's that. Okay, let's go back into some more questions here in the chat. All right, Andrew says he's here in Dallas. If you decline, let it roll through. Another 3 offers will come. They'll kick you off. Really interesting. If they kick you off, can't you just rejoin though? So, let's see here. It's harder to keep up with the chat here. Anthony asks, what's a good email? He says admin@tippyouintheapp.com. I try to read that email about once a week. So if you send an email to admin@tippyouintheapp.com, that's how you'd reach that. Kay usually says, when you calculate your cost per mile, do you divide your fixed annual cost, insurance, etc., by the average number of miles you expect to drive that year? No, I do not. I am an accountant in my previous life. And to me, there's fixed costs, like what you just said, and variable costs. My cost per mile is strictly just my variable costs. And here's the reason why. Most of my fixed costs are things that I would pay for even if I wasn't an Uber driver. A good example is my insurance. My insurance has not changed whether I'm a rideshare driver or not. It's really the same insurance price. So why would I try to bring that into my cost per mile? The reality is that even if I didn't Uber drive, I'd still have that insurance cost for my Tesla. Same thing is true with my cell phone costs. What are some other fixed costs? Tesla FSD is a fixed cost. The car washes are a fixed cost. So almost all of my fixed costs are attributed to just the fact that I own a car, not that I'm being a rideshare driver. Whereas the fuel, the electricity on my car, the depreciation of my vehicle, and the estimated maintenance on my car, well, those, every time the wheel rolls a mile, it costs me money. So that's why I break my cost down that way. Now, I still pay for things for my vehicle out of my business account. So, for example, I pay for Tesla FSD out of my Uber account because it's a business expense while I'm using it for Uber. However, because almost all the miles I do are for Uber, I rarely drive my Tesla without being an Uber driver. But if I stopped Uber driving today, I would just transition that from a business expense to a personal expense. So I hope that answers your question. Let me answer some more of the questions up here. Quick reminder, hey, thank you. The channel just crossed 25,000 subs earlier today. It's amazing. I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. A shout out to GigU and Red Tiger, sponsors of the channel. But thank you to you, Thrive members, subscribers, even people just watching. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to answer some more of your questions. I've got a whole bunch of questions right up here. Let's just take a look here. Next question. Okay, Ron, another Thrive member of the channel. He says, what steps can be taken to establish a community? How can I contribute to its development? I'm currently residing in Northern California with my primary work location in the Sacramento region. Okay, how can you set up a community? And I think what he's referring to is a community of drivers. That's really kind of the way this channel started. I do have a driver Facebook group. It's called Thrive. It's over on Facebook. If you're a driver, you can join that group. It's free. It doesn't cost you any money. But that is a great way to join a community. I found personally that Facebook groups have been the easiest way for me to join and be a part of a community of other drivers. It's a great little water cooler area. And so I created my own just because I wanted to moderate some of the content in there. I wanted it to be driver only and not salesy and things like that. So there's no sales pitches in there. It's just a great driver community. But I think what Ron is asking is a little bit even more in depth. How do you create a driver community? Well, he's in Northern California. Well, where are drivers already hanging out? The airport lot. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm the kind of guy that gets out of my car at the airport lot and I walk over and I talk to the driver next to me. Now, I live in Syracuse, New York. It's a super small community. There's probably only 1,000 drivers at any given point in time in the Syracuse market. And if you go to the Syracuse airport waiting lot, there's typically 20 cars there. But I really enjoy connecting with my fellow driver. In fact, let me tell you a story. This is really funny. You want to hear a story? This is so funny. I like people and I like meeting people. So it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm Uber driving. And I'm going to go to a fraternity to pick up my next passenger. So as I'm pulling into the fraternity house parking lot or whatever, I have to pass another car, right? So I'm driving this way. There's a car parked or something like that we're going to pass. So as I'm pulling up next to the car, he's over there to my left. I say, roll your window down. So I roll my window down and he rolls his window down. And I see him. He's another Uber driver. And I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? My name's Levi. I'm an Uber driver. And that guy looked at me. He looks at me. He's like, so the beep, what? And he rolls his window back up. My point is not everybody wants to be in a community. Uber driving is a very, solo type of job. You're out there alone by yourself sometimes. And you just have to just kind of live with that. So how do you join a community or how do you create a community? I think you have to create forums, whether it's online or in person, where drivers can connect. 2 years ago, I did a barbecue here in Syracuse. I invited drivers from all over Central New York. Hey, come to the barbecue. I had Delta Sonic, a car wash, gave me some gift cards and handed them out to drivers, and it was fun. If you want to join a community, there's plenty of them out there. But if you want to create a community, it takes work, but it's really important. Ron, thank you so much. I think that's really good. Let me jump into some more of your chat here in the chat. Okay. Okay. Evie says Sergio and Chris are against the a new car for rideshare, but your Tesla is new. Can you share why you disagree? I totally agree with Sergio and Chris. Do not buy a new car for rideshare. You're like, Levi, why did you buy a new car for rideshare? I didn't buy a new car for rideshare. I bought a new car because my other car was broken and I had to rent a car, and I rented a Tesla for 2 weeks. And then two more things happened at the exact same time. Number one, Tesla lowered the price on their cars. So I started looking at them. I was like, that's pretty good. And then number two, Uber said, hey, if you complete 100 rides in a Tesla, we'll give you a $2,000 bonus. So Tesla Model Y, I think it was like $4,000 something off a regular price Tesla Model Y from Tesla. I got the $7,500 tax deduction from the federal government. I think it's a $2,000 one from the state of New York. So price reduction. And then I got a $2,000 bonus from Uber. I think I got like $9,000 off a Tesla. So I paid $36,000 for a brand new Tesla. And if I stopped Uber driving today, I would still be driving that car. I bought a car for me that I liked. It just so happened that there were some really good discounts for me to buy a new car. But there's that. So I don't disagree with Sergio, Chris. I totally agree with them. It is super smart to buy the cheapest used car you possibly can to be an Uber driver. In fact, I don't recommend buying a car for Uber at all. I recommend buying the car that you like. It just so happens that you Uber drive or Lyft or anything else. Let me get something to drink here. All right, let's take a look here. I'm going to go back up to the questions. I'm going to scroll through the chat when I could. Let me jump up here to these questions again. What I've got is a bunch of questions from everybody. 25,000 subs. And so I went through and I found all these questions. I want to answer them as a way to give back and celebrate 25,000 subs on the channel today. So John says, why not make an important video? That's so good. He goes, like, what insurance you use? Every insurance company tells me they don't allow rideshare in New York, Westchester County. I think I have like 1,200 videos on my channel. John watches this one video. It was a fun video. Me and my friend Zeke, we did a fun competition. And he's like, why not make an important video? Fair. Unfair, John. How about I don't have an answer for you. You're right. There are almost no insurance companies in the state of New York that offer rideshare insurance. Lucky for me, I am a USAA member. They have been very flexible in working with me from an insurance policy. They know I'm a rideshare driver. And I have to actually self-insure that $2,500 deductible. So that's how I do insurance. I've been with USAA since 1992, I think. 94. 1994. So what is that? 32 years? I don't know. I'm getting old. I was 18 when I joined USAA on my own insurance policy. So there you go. So I'll try to make more videos, but here's the deal. I think his comment is a little bit even more of a tell. Think about all of the rideshare content creators that are out there. What do they like to talk about? How much Uber sucks? How little money they're making, how to make the most amount of money. It's all very technical. I want to create content. Here, let me get in a little closer here. I want to create content that connects to the heart of what it's like being an Uber driver. That's what matters most to me. Now, I do have a skill set. It's like a Liam Neeson in the movie Taken. I have a unique set of skills. I can create data and analyze data. I am an Uber driver, etc. I can make YouTube videos. So I do try to make technical videos. And by the way, those videos make me a lot more money. They get a lot more views. So I don't blame John for his comment here. I just find it boring sometimes to create videos that are like that. So here's my thoughts on it. Uber driving is a very lonely job. It kind of goes back to Ron's comment earlier in this video, right? When he asked how to create a community. You log on to an app, you talk to nobody at the Uber company. Your customers who you do have, you never see them again. So you're not like you have recurring customers, and you don't have any coworkers. It's like you're out there driving alone all the time. And I think there are a lot of hurting people, lonely people in this world. Uber drivers just happen to be one of them. And I want to create content around that, the experience of really enjoying what we do, because I think a lot of drivers enjoy what they do. They enjoy the flexibility, the freedom. They enjoy being out, out during the day or at night. They like meeting new people. There is a rewarding aspect to the job, and there's also the frustration of being managed by algorithms. And whether you're an Uber driver, Lyft driver, that's so I want to make content that's geared toward that. So John, thank you for your comment. But that was pretty good. That was so funny. All right, let me scroll into the chat here real quick. Let's see what we got going on here today. All right. Kay says, seems like it could be a blessing when I see that Uber is charging commercial auto insurance in some of your rides. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm so grateful that Uber does the commercial auto insurance, but they definitely charge a lot of money for that. So that is a thing. J-Dog says, last Uber standing derby. Okay, that could be fun. Let's see here. See you at the Uber derby. Edgar says, hello, sir. I'm concerned about the status. I'm going back and forth, blue to gold, because I'm cherry picking. Before I didn't care. Then I tried to stay gold, but I heard from, okay, Edgar, I understand. Blue, gold, it feels like it really matters. I've made really good money as a blue driver. I've made good money as a diamond driver. I've made bad money as a diamond. I've made bad money as a blue. I don't know if it matters that much. I just don't. So diamond, platinum, gold, blue. Do your best. Pick the trips that matter most to you for whatever criteria that you have. And yeah, just enjoy those, pick up those rides. And the status is the status. With the new Uber upgrade, this matters a lot. I'm not sure what you mean, Edgar. All right, let's go to the next chat here. Next question. Mr. Logic Pants says, lately, Uber has been sending me requests that pay 50 to 75 cents a mile. Are you freaking kidding me? Gas in my area is over $4 a gallon. I'm taking those stupid rides. I think he meant I'm not taking those rides. This is the thing that kind of is interesting to me when it comes to Uber drivers, to include myself. We like to complain about the offers that we get, but then we don't take them, which seems to me the system is working. If Uber sends you an offer for 50 cents a mile and you think that is too low, don't be offended by that. Just don't take it. Now, I'm like the pot calling the kettle black. I get offended too. I see the offers come in and I get offended. So I'm trying to talk to myself a little bit here. Uber doesn't owe you or me anything. Think about it this way. This is an interesting kind of thought to answer your comment, Mr. Logic Pants. if you go into a food court at I remember thinking about this analogy when I was sitting in a food court at a mall. I was in a mall in the food court, and there's 40, 50 different restaurants or whatever, right? Or whatever the number is. And each one sells tacos or hot dogs or hamburgers or whatever, and they all have different pricing. They're just offers. And I can walk through that food court and be like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Ooh, but here's a hamburger. It might cost a little bit more, but I'll take that offer. And I go and I buy the hamburger. That's what it's like Uber driving. Uber is just giving you offers, and they're pricing the things that they feel is the best price to get people to accept them. It can be offensive, but would you walk through a food court and look at a piece of pizza and go, $5 for a slice of pizza? I'm offended. Let me get on a Reddit thread and let me get on Levi's video and make a comment about it. Just don't take it. Just don't buy the pizza. That's all I will tell you about that. So that's my thoughts toward that. Hey, the YouTube channel now has 25,000 members, subscribers. I am forever grateful. Thank you so much for subscribing. Today, I just wanted to do a live stream to connect and answer some of your questions. I'm trying to get the OBS thing to make my screen a little bit bigger here. There you go. I'm going to do that. Transition back to that. Let's just jump into chat. All right. Chat. Who is going to win the PGA BMW Championship this weekend? Scotty Scheffler is. Edgar says, with a new Uber upgrade, does this matter a lot? I don't know what that means. J-Lo says, I love driving and meeting people and sharing other Uber drivers, what works or what is frustrating, etc. That's why I'm here. Fantastic. That's why I'm here too, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Evie says, I do not understand why the driver obsession with the take rate. I could care less. I take profitable offers and ignore the rest. Their take is meaningless to me. Evie Lover DP, thank you for being a Thrive member. Let me address that. The Uber take rate. What does that mean? So a passenger pays $30 and I get, right now I'm getting about 10. I'm getting about 33 to 38%. I think last week 37% was my number. I'm only getting 37% of the fare. I agree with you for the most part that the take rate is a little meaningless. However, let me put some meaning behind it. There has to be a floor. Because here's what happens. If somebody pays for something that's really expensive and they're frustrated by the price, what are the odds they're still going to tip you afterwards? So what's happening is, here's how much money we make. The price for the ride keeps going up and up and up. At some point, there's a threshold, there's a ceiling where people are going to be really upset by that price, even though we're still making the same amount. And we might be happy with that amount, but I think it's going to reduce our tips. So I think that's the only case for the take rate. And it also shows the weakness of the company that they have to take so much. I think there's a problem with Uber when they have a high take rate like that. So there you go. Thank you so much for your comment, Evie. Let me jump back into your questions. Okay, let's see if I can do this again here. All right. We got a question from Rideshare Matt. Hey, Levi, another video of you mentioned you drive a lot of deadhead miles because you live out in the sticks, and that is true. By the miles that you've driven on your spreadsheet, it doesn't appear that you are accounting for your deadhead miles, are you? Okay. There's two parts to his question or his comment that I think are really interesting. Let me actually transition here. I forgot to do that transition. There you go. So Rideshare Matt, let me see if I can answer your question two parts. Number one, yeah, I live out in the middle of the country. If I turned the Uber app on at my house, I might get a ride every hour, 2 or 3, if I'm lucky. There are times I can turn it on the whole day and not get one single Uber ride. That means I have to drive from my little village of Cazenovia, New York, to Syracuse, New York, to start Uber driving. Sometimes I drive as far as Ithaca or Binghamton. I've gone to Watertown. I've gone hours away from my house to Uber drive. Now, he's asking, why did I not account for deadhead miles on one of my spreadsheets? I make a lot of videos, and sometimes it's hard to communicate deadhead miles in my analysis to other drivers. There are drivers that live in the city of Syracuse that don't have any deadhead miles. So with that particular spreadsheet, Matt, what I was trying to do was analyze the offers as they were, not the offers relative to my deadhead, especially because the deadhead miles that I have are fairly unique to me. I wanted to present information that was a little bit to a broader audience. Now, when I analyze my days or my weeks, I definitely include my deadhead miles because I'm trying to do a full and honest accounting back to the public. So it just depends on what the purpose of the video is. My advice to drivers, always account for your deadhead miles. Your deadhead miles matter a lot, and you should be tracking them and understanding them. The way I try to make money, even though I have potentially upwards of like 100 miles of deadhead time. That's right. I'll go 50 miles one way, then 50 miles back sometimes, is I pick places that are going to make me more money. And then I drive for long periods of time. Like yesterday, I was out of my house for about 13 hours, including the 2 deadhead trips that I had. So I still made money. So yesterday, I think I did $189 in revenue, and I had 178 miles. And that 178 miles included, I think, 60, 70 miles of deadhead time or deadhead miles. So I still account for it, but just understand that each video answers a specific thing. Each video is not going to break down every aspect of my Uber driving because I just couldn't make a video every single time about the same things over and over again. Let's jump back into the chat here. See what we got going on here in chat. Deadhead miles do count. Of course they do. Hello from Cave Creek, Arizona. That's right. Hey, if you're in the chat, do me a favor. Number one, let me know where you're driving, what car you're driving, and even if you're a subscriber or not, because today I crossed 25,000 subs, and I'm super grateful for it. I'm so happy. When I first created this channel, I remember getting like the first 100 subs, and I think 2 of them were me and my mom, so it's like, I even asked my wife to subscribe to the channel. I think she's recently unsubscribed. I've got more than enough subs now, so she doesn't have to see my videos come through her feed, but 25,000 subs is super amazing, and I am grateful. And so I wanted to do a live stream and just connect with you guys and connect in the chat. So what I did was I went through the YouTube channel and I found a bunch of questions that you've asked, kind of the same questions over and over again. I thought I'd answer them and answer questions that you might put into the chat here. So this is an interactive thing. I'm looking at the chat. I'm watching the questions there. I'm paying attention to it all, and kind of go from there. Let me get some water here. Hold on. For those of you that have beards, you know what I mean. I hate when like stuff gets on my beard here. Let's take a look at who we got here. We got Houston, Fresno, Temple, Montreal. Let's see here. Avalon, J-Lo. That's nice. I had a Toyota Avalon. I loved my Avalon. What a great car. Nissan Aria? What is that? That's kind of cool. I don't know what that is. Okay, Model 3. Nice. JDX. I like that. Let's see what we got here. Scoop says, what does the Deadhead say about the LSD finally wore off? Man, this music sucks. Yeah, no doubt. I am not. The Grateful Dead, I appreciate them, but I don't think I can listen to them for long periods of time. Evie says, Equinox EV, Tri-City, Michigan, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland. Nice. All right. Winter is coming, right, Evie? Let's go out to some more of your questions here. So let's go. All right. All right, let's see here. Transition to that. Let's see here. David says, does anyone here have experience with Uber Black? Ooh, if you're an Uber Black driver, go into the chat. Let me hear about it. Here's an interesting thing. People ask me all the time, Levi, why don't you do private rides and Uber Black and things like that? First and foremost, it's hard for me to do private rides. I talked about that earlier. I'll talk about it again. It's just the constant question. But the Uber Black thing, we don't have Uber Black in Central New York. If you were to go into Uber, the Uber app, and try to order an Uber, the highest tier that you could get, I think you could get Uber XXL, Uber XL, and Uber Comfort. So if I were to get a Cadillac Escalade and do Uber Black, I would have to drive to New York City, give or take, 4 hours away to do Uber Black. So I'm extremely jealous. There are some TikTokers that I follow. I follow their live stream, and they're just sitting in their car for hours on end, declining rides that I would take nonstop. And I had this really interesting conversation with another Uber driver on my Facebook group. So by the way, there is a Facebook group. It's called Thrive. It's for drivers only. And this one guy, he's an Uber Black driver in Cleveland. And he says that most of the job is really about sitting parked as an Uber Black driver. So you're going to get some crazy profitable trips, but there'll be a lot of times you're just sitting there parked. Now he can flip those rides into private rides, because to be an Uber Black driver, and I think it's the same in New York City, I don't know, but you get livery tags and the TLC tags, and then you can be an Uber Black driver and you can flip them. That's another reason why I just don't do private rides, is like I can't do Uber Black. So the best car for me to actually get would be like a used Toyota Prius. Now I drive a Tesla Y, that costs me money. But getting a nicer car doesn't necessarily make you more money here. So good question from David. Let me answer another question here. All right. It says, E-Man says, hey, how did you get a 32% acceptance rate? I hover around 1 to 3%. That's a great question. Do you hate that too, by the way, when people say that? When an Uber passenger asks me a question, my first response, it's like, I always say, oh, that's a great question. They'll say like, hey, where are you from? And I'm like, that's a great question. It's not a great question. But E-Man Q5ZO ask, why is my acceptance rate at 32%? I think right now, let's see what it is right now. When he asked me that, that's when it was, but let's take a look at it right now. My acceptance rate is, I'm at 26%. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but 26%. So how did I get a 26% acceptance rate? As opposed to his 1 to 3%. I drive in a super small area a lot of the times. I'd say about a third, if not half of my time as an Uber driver is driving in Ithaca, New York. Now, Ithaca, New York is a very small town. It's like 40,000 people. It's got Cornell there. It's got Ithaca College. But for 30 miles around Ithaca, New York, it's farmland. So it's a very tight area. So the ride variance doesn't change that much in that little area. So I can have a higher acceptance rate. Now, if I drove in Dallas, if I drove in Chicago or LA or whatever, my acceptance rate would probably drop even more. But I can take a lot of $4, $5 rides and still make a lot of money. And the reason why is because my $4 and $5 rides last 5 minutes. They're literally paying me $40 to $60 an hour to go a half a mile. And it works. And then those people still tip. So I still get a lot of tips. Now, it doesn't work always like that. There are times I go down to Ithaca and I regret it. So it's like a gamble. But when I'm in Ithaca, my acceptance rate increases. And when I go to Binghamton, my acceptance rate increases. When I go to Syracuse, it kind of declines a lot. So that's how my acceptance rate goes up. So one of the things that I do for my experiment videos, when I try to do challenges or whatever, I'll go to a place like Auburn, New York, or Canandaigua, and these are all small little towns around here, and literally just take every single ride. I can take 40 rides in a day. They're all super short, do it like a 12-hour time, and my acceptance rate shoots up through the roof. And if I do that for 1 or 2 days, within a week, I have a diamond status, and then I can go do experiments that way. So how did I get a 32 acceptance rate, a 32% acceptance rate? I just live in a different area than you do. But if I lived in your city, I'd probably have your acceptance rate. All right, let's see here. Let's jump into the chat. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Let me see what's going on out there. All right. I'm going to scroll back a little bit here. Let's go back a little bit. EV Lover says cold weather uses more heater, which sucks in range. That is correct. Let's see here. By the way, I'm looking for my members. That's what I'm scrolling for. When I scroll back through chat, I look for the member channels, and then I look at top fans. So if you want to be a top fan, you want to be a member, get my attention in this chat. That's what I'm trying to do. Let me know where you're driving, what kind of car you're driving. We got Poker in Reno. Tomix driving his new BMW or VW. Scoop Flag, spotless Subaru Outback. How about that? Good job, Scoop. I see Scoop everywhere. Scoop, you're on some of the other live streams, right? I've seen you out there at Show Me the Money Club. Antonio, Odessa, Texas, Jeep Gladiator. How's a Jeep Gladiator for Uber driving? I'm kind of curious about that. Let's see here. Poker's got a Toyota RAV4. Tomic, black is expensive to start up. Yes, it is, but you can make good money doing it. Razek, 2026 Model Y. How much I have to put into it is per mile. GigU, please. GigU has a calculator inside of their app. So just use their calculator. That's how I came up with my cost per mile. Scoop Flag says, I see black cars all around Phoenix. By the way, Scoop, my sister lives in North Scottsdale, and I've got another sister out in Tucson. So I'm going to get out there to Phoenix. Scoop, I'd like to connect with you when I get out there. I'll let you guys know. Oh, let me take a break here for a second. Remind everybody, hey, big news, big news. There's 40 of you in the viewing right now. Pay attention to this. Listen. GigU is having a couple of drivers meet up in Miami, September 8th through the 13th. It's going to be a driver meetup. I think any driver that can get there can be a part of the meetup. We're just going to meet up, connect, hang out. Yeah, so GigU, I'm going to fly down there. September 8th. I'm going to be in Miami, September 8th through September 13th. I want to connect with Florida drivers. I can tell you, I am not Miami material. I feel fat. I'm not very tan. I don't even think I have a bathing suit. So, I'm going to be renting a Tesla Model Y. I can tell you that. And we're going to be filming some content driving around Miami. It seems pretty exciting. I've never been to Miami, and I hope to connect with you guys. So GigU's putting this together. Shout out to GigU, sponsor the channel. But yeah, let's connect in Miami. Big news, awesome stuff. And this is to talk about GigU's release of iPhone, their iPhone app. So it's a great app. It works so well. And I love GigU, and they're sponsored, no doubt, but I love the fact that they just make the calculation of the ride so easy. No longer am I trying to think about the calculation of the ride. Now I'm looking at where's the ride going to and from? Do I want to pick this passenger up? Is it worth it? Instead of financially worth it, I can do the other calculations and still pay attention to the passenger in the back seat. So it's really good. Let's take a look here. iPhone release, Black Flag for GigU. It's going to come out in the next, let's see here. I want to say early September. I don't have the exact date, but if you go to the GigU website, there's a place to sign up. When it is released on iPhone, they're going to email you. So that's what I would do. Barrett says he drives a Cadillac CTS. Man, that'd be so cool. Yid Nee says, thank you. I have seen your contribution on More Perfect Union. Oh, you have? Interesting. Did they release that video? More Perfect Union reached out to me. No, now I'm curious. Um, More Perfect Union reached out to me and we did an interview together. So they flew out for a day and we talked and they filmed me and we talked about Uber, take rate, commercial auto insurance, some of my experiments. So that's pretty cool. And Business Insider also came out here to do an interview with me, and that was pretty cool too. So that content should be coming out. I think the Business Insider is going to be coming out Saturday. It's like a long form interview video, and then the business or the More Perfect Union video they said was going to come out in September, but maybe it came out now. I don't know. Let's take a look here. Tomic says Gigu doesn't work in my market. Why? I'd be curious to know why. I don't know why. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know. Scoop says bring a speedo to Miami. Let's join. Let's go into the chat here. I got another, not a chat. Excuse me. I have questions from you guys. I went out to my YouTube channel and I saw a bunch of questions from everybody, and I said, hey, today I crossed 25,000 subs. That's a big number for me, and I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much. So I went through the comments, and I thought I would just start answering your questions. Let's jump into this question here. Okay, the next one, and these are random, so I don't. I'm trying to figure it all out here. AK says, does GigU take screenshots whenever you accept the ride? Today, an Uber shorted me $10 for an hour-long drive to the airport. I'm sick of them ripping me off. Yes. GigU does take screenshots. That's why I love it. It's so awesome. It makes tracking of all the experiments that I do when I do these experiments, collecting data. I used to have to take a screenshot on my iPhone every single time a ride came in. GigU automatically does it. That's so cool. So yes, they do. Let's go to the next question here. All right. Oh, a long one. Scoop Flag. By the way, I think I got a question for you in here. I think I saw your name in my list of people who asked me questions. Okay, see if I can read this here. It says, Mark says, what about Lyft? I use both apps, but prefer Lyft because the first number I look at on their trip offers is the estimated hourly rate. With Uber, I have to do the calculations. GigU will solve this problem when it comes to iPhone in September. Everybody's talking about GigU. Hey, GigU, are you paying attention? I got the team out at GigU. I should let them know that you guys are all shouting them out. That's good. With Lyft, I look at how far in minutes to the pickup. I turn off ride requests when they're driving because I've made too many bonehead mistakes. By the way, my maximum is 10 minutes. Then I look at the estimated earnings per hour. Lyft does the calculation for me. The area I'll be dropping off in, and then the rider rating. I drive in Houston, Texas. Shout out Houston. Uber is my secondary because it lacks the estimated hourly rate. That's a long question, comment, but I think there's a couple things going on there that I'd like to address, if you don't mind. Mark, number one, why don't I do Lyft? I think the Lyft app is better too. I can tell you right now, every time I've used the Lyft app, I've been really impressed with it, especially when I can mark that I arrive at the pickup. I love it. I love that it does calculate the estimated hourly earnings too. That it's a better app. I think David, the CEO of Lyft, is better too. Nothing against Dara, but at least David goes out and drives a lot more, and I like that. I respect that. Why don't I do it then? Because I don't get rides. I have not put the effort in to turn on Lyft and maximize my earnings. Now, there are Lyft drivers in the city of Syracuse that make a good living. I've heard from them, and so I know that it's possible. I just have not tried it. With Uber, I know what I'm doing, and I know I can get rides. Even on the slowest days, I can stay fairly busy with Uber. I'm not going to make great money, but the rides will be coming in. There are times I'll turn Lyft on and forget that I have it on. And then 2 hours later, I've done, 3, 4, 5 Uber rides, and I'll get a ping from Lyft. And I'll forget that the app's even on. I'm like listening. I'm like, where's that sound coming from? And then I realize it's from Lyft. So that's why I don't do the Lyft app, is because I don't get rides. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll spend like a month just doing Lyft. Maybe that's an experiment. That's kind of fun. I'm a new Lyft driver. I've done like 600 Lyft rides. I think it's like 600, maybe 300. I don't know the number. I got my phone here. Let me just check. How many Lyft rides have I done? Let's take a look here. My profile, 399 Lyft rides. There you go. 4.4 years, I've done 399 rides. So maybe I'll do the 400th ride and do an experiment. Now, the second thing that's really interesting, and I like what you're doing, Mark. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. Yes, looking at how much you're going to make per hour is a good calculation, but obviously the miles matter. I'm not a big miles kind of guy because I think the hours, if you get a high hourly rate, it's going to cover it. But just caution, just caution. Let's jump back into chat. Oh, let's see here. I'm going to go here. So I decided to do a live stream today because, hey, I have 25,000 subs. The channel has grown and I am forever grateful. So I'm going to jump into chat. We got 44 of you guys on here right now. I really appreciate it. Scoop says, bring a Speedo to Miami. Yeah, I could bring it. I'm not going to wear it. So let's see here. Gas mileage, 4.99, 97% acceptance rate, 1% cancellation. MBA, that's pretty impressive. So taxis also don't have access to Uber rides in Reno. It sucks. Oh, they also have access. Yeah, so when taxis get access to Uber, it definitely decreases or increases supply, reduces demand for rides. Or not demand, but what you're going to make. Excuse me. Jumping into chat here. Jeep Gladiator gas mileage sucks for Uber gig work, but I got bills to pay and I got to work with what I got. Antonio, that's exactly what I respect the most. If I'm just reading your chat here. Yeah, I never frown upon using the car that you got to do the work that you got to do. Now, let's just say your Jeep Gladiator breaks down. That's never happened before. Right? But you have to get a new car. But if you're in the market for a new car, step one, get the car that you want. Step two, if you consider Uber driving or doing rideshare work or whatever, continuing to do that, then consider that car for Uber. That's what I recommend. Always drive the car that you want because at any moment in time, Uber can kick you off the app and that's it. So, yeah, get the car that you like, get the car that you want, but maybe there's 2 or 3 cars that you like. You like the Jeep Gladiator, the Jeep Wrangler, and the Jeep Cherokee. I don't know. And you got 3 cars. Then you can say, well, I like all 3 of these cars. How do they fit into the Uber world? That's what I would do. So again, today I'm doing a live stream just to connect with all the subscribers, 25,000 subscribers. I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much. Let's jump into some more of your questions that you guys posted. All right. How are you not getting more than 3 hours per charge? That's an interesting question because he's talking about charging on my Tesla. Oh, my nose itches. Excuse me. All right. How am I not getting 3 hours per charge? Well, a couple things. I don't know how long my charge lasts. I guess if I don't drive my car, it can last days, right? Weeks. I made a video where I measured stopping for fast charging or whatever it was. And the thing is this, my Tesla's old. Well, it's got a lot of miles. It's got 160 something thousand miles, which means the Tesla battery that I have inside of it has an 81% effective charge to it. So, or not effective charge, but battery health is a better way to say it, which means that it used to get 330 miles on a full charge. Now it's like 260 something, maybe 270. So I've lost 60 miles of range in my Tesla. The other thing is this. When it gets really cold, the Tesla gets less range. When I'm driving at high rates of speed, the Tesla gets less range. During the winter, when I Uber drive in a blizzard, I'm getting like 150 miles of range. So basically every 125 miles, 150 miles, I'm stopping at the supercharger. Now, you're like, why? How did this all work? It's really easy for me. I just charge it as much as I possibly can the night before, typically between 80 and 100%. Then I'm going to Uber drive to the place that I'm going to deadhead to the place I'm going to drive. Maybe catch one or two rides on the way there. But for the most part, it's deadhead to where I'm going to go, Syracuse, Binghamton, Ithaca, or whatever. Then I'm going to charge as much as possible, looking for the perfect ride. Then I'm going to drive, but I'm going to stay close to the charger and just take those rides that are kind of short. And again, I don't know if I would do that in a city like Dallas, where you've got big trips and big miles and it's a big city. I live in a very small area. So it's a little bit more Tesla talk. So let's get another question here. Let's see here. Are you paid by Uber for the podcast, dear? It's Pat B 8605. Okay, obviously I am not paid by Uber to do the podcast, but there are 39 of you here. I think it's really important to share with you the business model. Do you guys want to hear the business model of this channel? Let me look in the chat. I'm going to wait for a second here. I'm going to see what you guys put in the chat. Do you want to hear how I make money? I'm not going to tell you the amounts, because if I told you, you'd either say it's too high or too low or whatever. But I'm going to look for 2 or 3 yeses in the chat if you want to hear the business model, how I came up with this whole thing. Do you want to hear the business model? Because I think it answers this question. Am I paid for the podcast by Uber? I'm looking in the chat. I see 36 of you here. J-Lo says yes. That's one person. Black Flag, yeah, let's hear the business. All right, go me one more. Come on, one more person in the chat. All right, Bernard. All right, Poker, Scoop. All right, Scoop. All right, since I've got enough yeses in there, let's answer the business question: how I make money as an Uber driver. Now, let's go back in time. 2020. I'm an executive at a small marketing company, so it sounds big, but it's really not. And I make a good living. And I'm out in Vegas, and I have a Uber driver. His name is Bronislav, and he's like, "You should be an Uber driver." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm like a vice president of such and such, you know?" And he's like, "No, trust me. You're a good talker, and you make good money." So there's that one thing. Put that over here. There's another thing where I'm kind of seeing the end of my time at the company that I'm working at. So you've got Bronislav saying I should be an Uber driver, and I can see my days are numbered at the company I'm working at. I'm not necessarily get fired or anything, but it's just not. There's like a ceiling of how far I can advance to some extent. Third thing, I'm jealous of the creators. I worked with a bunch of artists, writers, video producers. They're super talented people. And I thought, why couldn't I do something similar to that and then help other businesses do it? So then COVID hit. So all 4 of these things are happening all at once. They didn't happen in that sequence per se. But I said, I'm going to start Uber driving, make a little side money. Excuse me. A little walking around cash, if you're familiar with The Wire. So I started Uber driving, and I loved it. I remember like it was so great. So I'm making a little bit of side hustle money, and I thought, I could probably be an Uber driver, pay the bills, make ends meet, and create content, write a book, create content, and explore the creative side to my life. And that I can consult with other businesses and show them how to do it. So that's what the business plan was. Uber drive to kind of pay the bare minimum of bills, make sure the lights stay on, the mortgage gets paid, etc. Pay the groceries and that kind of stuff, but no wealth creation on that. Second thing, start to create content. Maybe I can get monetized, maybe I couldn't, but I can prove that I'm good at it. So I create this YouTube channel, I do some other things, and so I demonstrate competency as a creator. Then I go out to businesses and say, hey, hire me. I know how to do it. I know how to create a podcast, how to create a YouTube channel. Let me show you in your business. And that's where the real money is. There's a lot more money in that. Now there's three things going on, but that's the way I started making money. So Uber paid the bills. I got monetized as a content creator, and that's okay money in there. But the real wealth creation was to sell a big contract to a business and be like, "Hey, hire me. Look, I know how to do this. Trust me, I can show you how to do it." I kind of put that consulting thing aside though. What I've been focusing on for wealth creation, when I say wealth creation, let's say making $1 million. Now, I've never made $1 million. I'm just giving you a number. Uber pays the bills, content creation. I want to write a book. I want to create a podcast that's bigger than just Uber driving. So, because I think there's thresholds of income on the two things I got. Uber driving, I'm making less money than I've ever made as an Uber driver per hour. There's no surges anymore. It's just really hard to do it. But I still got to do it because I think, let me switch my screen because I really think this is important. I want to focus in on my face so you can see me here. I think a lot of the content creators don't, in the Uber space, don't do the gig anymore. They might occasionally get out there and do it. They're still my friends. They're really good at it as far as content creation. They have really good advice. Nothing against them that way. What I want to offer you, to my fellow driver, is that I'm doing it. Yesterday, I put in a 12-hour shift. Friday, Saturday, I'm going to do it. I'm doing 20 to 40 hours every single week as an Uber driver. And that money means something to my family. It keeps here in my home studio, keeps the lights on, food in the fridge, etc. So I practice the business. Now, the content creation for Uber driving, I do get paid. I have sponsors to this channel. I am monetized by YouTube. I'm monetized on X. I'm monetized on TikTok. I'm trying to get monetized on Facebook. I have a Substack now. So I'm creating all these different income streams. But let me tell you, you can make money as a content creator, but not as much as you think. There is a ceiling. It's not like I'm going to get sponsored by Delta Airlines or some sort of major brand to produce for a channel with even 25,000 subs. And as grateful as I am for 25,000 subs, I do know there's a threshold at where I can get. Look at the biggest content creators in the Uber space. Let's say like Harry over at the Rideshare Guy. Great channel. I watch every single one of their videos. Super big fan. He's 200,000 subs, 300,000 subs, something like that. It takes a whole team to put that together. Whatever money he's making on the channel, he's spending by putting the channel together. Harry himself has gone off and created other revenue streams. So for me, the business model that I'm trying to get to in 2027 is Uber Drive for money, for stories, but do that. Content create for Uber drivers, but create a new level of content creation that communicates the Uber life to the outside world. That's what the new podcast interview series called Where Are We Going? I've been talking about it. That's what it is, where I talk with other people and we talk about Uber and stuff like that. I'm writing a book. I've been working really hard on that. Here, I'll show you I'm practicing because I'm handwriting the book. Look at all these. I'm handwriting the book because of AI. People want to know that you're writing your book. You're not using AI to write your book. So I handwrite my book. That's where the real wealth creation is. So I'm no longer consulting with businesses. It became a distraction. It became hard for me to Uber drive, create content, and consult with the business. And the businesses would look at my channel quality of content. They would also look at my results and go, why am I not getting those results? And I'm like, hey, I've been doing this for almost 3 years. In the first 2 years, I had like 500 subs. And with any level of, or with anything on the world of YouTube, it's exponential growth. So 25,000 subs, maybe next year I'll have 100,000. I don't know. It just happens really, it just keeps growing. And so all my old videos still get viewed. And it's amazing. So that's the business model. So I know that's a long way of answering it, and I'm gonna go to the chat. Chat, I'm coming to you guys. You can ask me more questions about it. I'm an open book. I'm an open book. I'm glad to talk about it. But the person asked me this question. I want to answer it directly while the chat fills up with some questions here. Are you paid by Uber for the podcast, dear? No, I am not. Would I take money from Uber to sponsor this channel? Yes, I would. What? Of course I would. This is not a charity. Yes, I would. Now you might think, oh, you're selling out. I would take money from Uber, but I would keep my voice the way it is. So whatever contract I would sign with Uber, it would revolve around I still get to critique you and still be negative. If Uber is doing dumb stuff that I don't like, I'm still going to be negative. But if you want to pay me money, pay me. I'll even say sponsored by Uber. And then the very next words would be like, Uber is sucking because it's not giving me surges. Uber is sucking because of the take rate or whatever. I would still do it. So Uber would never sponsor my channel. I don't think Uber would sponsor any Uber driver channel. I don't think they like us. I don't think Uber likes the drivers. I think Uber can't wait for autonomous cars to replace us. So yeah, they're never going to sponsor my channel. I'm not sponsored by them. I would take their money, but there you go. So that's the that is, oh, there you go. Tom, AKHTAM. Thank you for joining Thrive. I appreciate it. Okay. So there you go. That's the business model. I Uber drive to pay the bills, and I do. I put in 10, 20, 30, 40 hours a week worth of work, sometimes 50, 60 hours a week driving a car, picking up people, putting them in the backseat of my car. That gives me source material to create authentic content from an Uber driver's perspective that I want to communicate to you, the subscriber, other drivers, and other people in the world to know what it's like to be an Uber driver, being controlled by an algorithm. And then I want to create content that's bigger, that is geared for the non-Uber driver. There you go. That's the business model. I hope that helps. Let me jump in here and see what the comments are here. Gigu only works for Uber Eats here in Seattle. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I ran out of blinker fluid yesterday. Easy fix. There you go. Let's see here. Let's hear the business as Black Flag. There you go. You can lose speed on indicator, the app, I guess so. Let's see here. The market area has block on apps like that. Oh, interesting. Sure, but it's not required to disclose sponsors. Isn't it required to disclose sponsors? It sure is. Oh, I don't think it's required. I don't know what the rules are, but I disclose. So I've got 2 sponsors right now, GigU and Red Tiger. Red Tiger makes dash cameras. They're phenomenal. I've enjoyed working with them. Buy a dash camera, buy a Red Tiger dash camera. Use the link in the description to get a discount. And then GigU is a sponsor. Let's see here. Distance to pick up. Well, let's see here. Scoop says longer, definitely per mile. Let's see here. Just give him 5 stars. Yes, gamble sometimes. Yes, Barrett. Levi sends out super positive message. Hey, shout out, Suzanne. I appreciate it. Hey, Levi, this is from AKH Tam. Let's see if I said that right. I appreciate the videos you make in your market. How do you decide which rides to accept? Earnings per hour, profit per hour? Do you have a minimum, like $30 an hour, etc.? Let me answer that question. You're a new member. You joined. You're a Thrive member. Let's jump into your question here. Let me throw this up here. Okay, so he asked me, how do I pick trips that I'm going to take? I wish there was like one simple answer, but there really isn't. When I go out to Uber drive for a period of time, I typically have like a few game plans that big strategies. So for example, this Friday, coming up on Friday, I'm going to Uber drive, probably either at the Syracuse or Cornell campuses. It's the first weekend when students are back, and I'm going to do 12 hours nonstop. I'll take breaks, but where I drive until the app turns off automatically. I hit drive time limits where I pick up as many rides as I possibly can, as short rides as possible. So I want to stay on the Uber on the Cornell campus, for example. And the goal is volume of rides. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of money because there might be some long trips that pay me really well, going to other cities that I like or whatever it might be. But the goal for this Friday is to get content for my book. So let's hypothetically say a 12-hour day freshman weekend at Cornell might pay $350 in revenue over 12 hours, maybe 400. I've done a lot more, but I'm just guessing right now. Whereas if I went to the Syracuse airport, strategized a little bit more, I could probably make a little bit more money. It might cost me $20-30 in revenue. Mileage aside for a second. So there's days like that. There are days like tomorrow, I might go out and drive for like an hour or two. Literally just as a break. I'm going to be sitting here in my studio, producing content, working on things, and I want to get out of the house. So I'm going to go and I'm going to produce content. Or I'm going to go out and Uber drive for just an hour or two. I'll just take whatever rides I can get as long as they're close to my house. And so I don't have a strategy that way. Then there are days when I need to go out and make money. And when I do that, it depends on where I go and what kind of rides I do. And I typically let reserved rides, I get a lot of reserved rides, dictate what cities I'm going to drive in and where I'm going to go. So that's my strategy. I know that doesn't make sense maybe, but there are times I drive to make money. There are times I drive just to get out of the house. So there you go. Let's see here. Let's see what other kind of stuff we got. We got 37 people in the chat. Oh, let's take a look here. Sent Goat Trophy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. TPH. Thank you so much. I'm going to hit like on that here. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate 25,000 subs. Thank you so much. I don't know what the trophies and things do. So, but I appreciate it. I really do. ScoopSat flag says sponsored by Cialis. Is Cialis the ED medication? I think it is, right? It's like the blue pill. I think so. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day I will get there. Okay. So let's go back to your questions. Oh, how do I do this here? All right, let's go back to your questions. I've got so many good questions from you guys. I wanted just to do a long live to connect with as many people as I possibly can because the channel hit 25,000 subs today. And that's a big deal for me. So I super appreciate it. And it means a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see here. Cheese Ball ZZZ says, how long does it take to charge my Tesla? And at those times next to the percentage time it took to get a full charge. Well, how long does it take to charge my Tesla might be the number one question I get as a Tesla driver when I have passengers in the car. They always want to know how long does it take to charge the car. And I wish I could give them a simple answer. Let me give you a couple of ways to look at it though. If I were to charge my car at my house overnight, which is where it always is, I think right now it's charged. I think it's charged right now. Let's just see. Is my Tesla? I think it's, I went out and drove earlier, but I plugged it back in. It should be fully charged. It says, yeah, it's at 76%. So the Tesla is sitting at 76% right now here at my house. And it says it'll take another hour and 40 minutes to get it to 80%. Because it's charging at 7 amps. So it's barely charging. It's kind of trickle charging right now. But if I were to fast charge it at my house overnight from 0 to 100%, it might take 6, 7, 8 hours. But who cares? It's plugged into my house. I get home, I plug it in, and I don't think about it till the next morning. So that's not really what people are asking me. I think they want to know is like, hey, if your battery's getting low and you need to charge it at a supercharger, how long does it take to charge? Well, most of the time, I sit at a supercharger for about 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Because here's the deal. I'm not trying to charge it to 100%. My Tesla, let's just do like a rotating kind of like thing. When the Tesla is empty, it charges really fast. The battery. If the battery is sitting at 4 or 5%, it charges extremely fast. And with every incremental percentage that it gets electricity, it gets slower and slower and slower. So by the time it gets to like 80%, it goes really slow. So here's an example. Let's say I get to a supercharger, the battery's sitting at 10%. From 10% to 50% might take 10 minutes. From 50% to 80% might take another 20 minutes. So now it's 30 minutes at a charger to get to 80%. From 80% to 100%, it might take another 30 minutes at that supercharger. So I'm going to charge like 50, 60% and get out there and keep driving. So I use the supercharger as a way to take breaks. Oh, I'm near a supercharger. So let's say I take a ride and it kind of gets me near a supercharger. I'm like, I'm going to go to that supercharger, charge the car. I'm going to go walk over to a bathroom, get a cup of coffee somewhere, whatever it might be. And then I'm going to walk back to the car, and whatever the percentage is where it's at. I'm going to just turn that Uber app on, start seeing rides come in. As soon as a ride that I like comes in, I'll take that ride, unplug the car, and I don't know what the percentage is going to be like. Now, here's another way, though, that it happens with start charging the car. Let's say I'm Uber driving and I'm really far away from my house. I'm like 50 miles away from my house. And I think, I'm going to navigate my way home. I'm going to put the destination in to my house. Tesla is going to say, oh, you don't have enough charge to get home. So the Tesla is going to route me to a charger on the way. Typically, I just have to get off the highway and it's not like I have to go miles out of my way or anything like that. And I'm going to stop at that charger for 5 minutes on the way home that night to charge the car, just for 5 minutes, just enough so I can get home at 10% battery. When I get home at 10% battery, then I plug it in at home. So that's how long it takes to charge a Tesla. Now, there's a lot of other factors, because if it's really cold outside, the battery is a little bit slower to charge. If there's a lot of cars at the Tesla supercharger, it can take a little bit of time. I typically just charge enough to get back out on the road. I never charge to 100% or even 80% for the most part. Good question. Let me answer another question here. So I'm answering questions. I went through all the comments on the YouTube channel over the last few weeks, and I saw a lot of your questions. And this is a live stream to answer your questions in the chat. So if you ask a question in the chat, let me know there. And then, in addition to answering your questions in the chat, I wanted to ask questions or answer questions that I got. But I ended up getting 25,000 subs today. And that's a big to do. And I'm super grateful, and I really appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Entitled people are the worst. I eat the $1. Let's see here. The cost making you Uber driver wait. That's right. Okay. Sorry, I had to think about this question from Brooke. It says, entitled people are the worst. I eat the $1 through because I'm already there, and I figure it costs more to wait another ride to drive to the next pickup. Seems like a guaranteed $5 is better than a potential 10. What is that saying about the birds in the bushes? Okay, I think I get what you're getting at. So I did an interview with Business Insider yesterday, and I spent the whole interview talking about rude passengers, specifically passengers that make Uber drivers wait. It's super frustrating. I don't know about you guys, but I hate it. I hate when I pull up and they're like, be right there. I'm like, I just spent 5-10 minutes driving to you and you're not ready. Get the heck out of here. So I'm very petty when it comes to that. And if it is busy enough, I typically literally just cancel the second I pull up. If I pull up and I get a text message from you, be right there. Or if I pull up and there's surges and you're not outside standing on that curb, I will cancel out of pettiness and get on to the next ride. Now, here's the deal. If I'm broke, if there's not a lot of rides, got nothing else going on, I will sit as long as I need to. So it just depends. I don't have like a standard operating procedure, because if it's, like I say, it's a Friday night and every time I turn around, there's like another ride, another surge, and it's like ride after ride after ride. I know if it takes me 5 minutes to drive to you and you're not there ready, if I hit cancel, within a second, Uber's going to offer me another ride within 2, 3, 4 minutes away. I'm just going to move on with my life. I'm not going to wait those 2 or 3, 4 minutes. So, but again, during the summer around here, when it's super slow, I will 100% sit there all 5, 7, 10 minutes or whatever it takes. In fact, yesterday, I did a Uber reserved ride from a hotel to another hotel, from Cornell's Statler Hotel to another hotel in Syracuse, about an hour away. The Uber ride was going to pay $60. It was an Uber Comfort. And when I pulled up, what did the guy say? Here, let's see here. I think I got it somewhere here. Because again, Gig, you take screenshots. I got a screenshot of the chat. Let's see what he said here. Hold on a second here. I do not want to create. I hate Android, just so you know. Let's see here. Android sucks. He said yesterday to me, what did he say? He said, can you wait 20 minutes? Now I've got an Uber Comfort reserved ride for $60. I pull up and he's like, hey, we're going to be 20 minutes late. Can you wait? It was slow. I waited the 20 minutes. Uber paid me $8 to wait extra. And then the guy tipped me $22. So it was $30 to wait an extra 20 minutes. So there are times to wait and it's worth it. And there are times to not wait. I'll let you guys decide how you want to do it. All right, let's go into the chat and let's see what's going on in the chat. Let me close this thing up here. We'll get full screen chat. What is going on out there? Okay, Scoop Flag says, thank you for sharing how you got in the gig. I appreciate it, Scoop. TPH says, I always commute to downtown LA, which seems like an hour commute to make cheese on the weekend. Heck yeah, man. Isn't everything an hour commute in LA? Is supercharging expensive? Yes, it is. Rideshare Matt, congrats on the 25,000 subs. Are you now going to make content from... Rideshare Matt asks, are you now making more from your content creation than driving for Uber? That's a hard question to answer. It's not whether I'm going to make more or less. I can tell you this. The amount of effort I put into content creation versus the dollar that I make, I'm much better off just turning the Uber app on and going out and driving. Some of the videos that you guys see, it takes me like 10 hours to put together. So the last video I put together, let's do the math. I drove around for 1 hour, parked or whatever for 5 hours on a Wednesday. Didn't make any money for 5 hours collecting rides for a spreadsheet. Then it took me another 3 hours to put together a spreadsheet. That's 8 hours. It probably took me 5 hours to do the analysis and do the initial write-up. It took me probably another 2-3 hours to correct that. Another 2-3 hours to record the podcast, edit it, put it out. What is that? 15 hours to make that one video. 15, not including all the hours I spent going on a walk thinking about it. Maybe, but being generous to myself, 15 hours to do that. So that means if I were to, let's say I profit roughly $30 an hour when I Uber drive on average, give or take. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but let's just say $30. That means that video has to make me $400, $500 to make what I make Uber driving. There's no way that video is going to pay me $400 or $500. Now, maybe 2-3 years from now, that video will be worth it. It'll grow the channel. So it's like a compounding thing. There are videos I produced 2 years ago that are still getting viewed. And so if you imagine I've got 1,000 videos out there and they're kind of slowly compounding. So it does grow over time. But the video in and of itself is an investment. So no, there's very little chance in the next 2 years that I will make more per hour creating content than I make as an Uber driver. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe, who knows? If I publish a book and get $1 million offer from my book that I'm writing here, then yeah, I'll make more money as a content creator. But for now, I always have to Uber drive. I don't know about you guys, but I'm addicted to it. I love it. If I won the lottery, $1 billion, I would still Uber drive. I would just do it in like some sort of fancy Mercedes or something like that. It'd be super cool to Uber X and pull up in a limousine or something. Okay, let's answer some more of your questions. Oh, by the way, Rideshare Matt, I answered one of your questions in the chat earlier. So take a look at that. Go back to the video and take a look here. Okay, interesting. Okay, we've got 32 people out there. If you are in the chat, ask questions, talk amongst each other. and let drivers know where you're driving, what kind of car you're driving, etc. It's kind of interesting. Let's take a look here. Um, so Hack Sonal says, I have a question. Okay, ask your question. Let's hear. Hello, I have someone who hacked my Uber account. How do I get it back? Dude, I hate these questions. And when I don't hate you for asking it, I'm sorry. I don't have those answers, and it makes me feel horrible. I probably get an email, a comment, a text message, something like that every day now from a driver who has been either kicked off the app because something happened, or their account's been hacked or whatever. And I don't know. I recommend Torsten's account. He's got that rideshare rocket, something like rideshare rocket or rocket whatever, rocket activation. Check him out. The Rideshare Professor. Go to his YouTube channel. He sells it. It's a great service. That's my only recommendation. Now, there's another part to it, though, that I think is really interesting to that question that you're asking. What can we do to protect our accounts? I have every security feature in the Uber app that is available. So two-factor authentication. I have all my keys downloaded, access keys. I do everything I can to protect all my accounts, my bank accounts, my YouTube channel. Everything is like, my passwords are like 40 characters long. And I don't write any of my passwords down. My passwords are connected through a different app. So yeah, I do everything I can to protect my passwords and my accounts with two-factor authentication, and text messages and everything else. So that's my only recommendation with that. Sorry, man. I wish I had a better answer for you. Let's see here. William. Hi, it's Will from Cleveland. Will, what's going on, man? Thank you from Cleveland. Okay, he says, okay, I'm careless now, but I'm looking at an E250 old wheelchair van for cargo deliveries. I wondered what would my cost per mile be. I don't know your cost per mile, but I think it'd be really easy to calculate. First, what is the gas mileage? That's an easy calculation, right? So you can figure out your cost per mile there. I think the other thing is putting like 4 to 7 cents per mile for maintenance away for costs. Now you get to keep that money. If you don't spend that money on maintenance, you get to keep it. So when I say it costs you 7 cents per mile for maintenance, all it means is if you drive 100 miles, you're taking $7, putting it into a bank account. If you sell the van and you didn't spend that $7, you can pull it back out. It's still your money, but you want to make sure you have money available to maintain your vehicle. The depreciation is actually a very simple calculation. Let's say you pay $20,000 for this van, and you think you're going to drive it into the ground, and you're going to sell it for $1,000. That means it's going to depreciate $19,000, but you're going to drive it 190,000 miles, making up a number here. That means it's going to depreciate 10 cents a mile. So it's a pretty easy calculation to come up with. And I think I've done some videos on it before. I hope I have. I know I have. It's somewhere out there. Take a look at it. But that's how I would do it. Thank you so much for being a member. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. NBA Nation or NBA TS on 82 says, "Hey Levi, is it true that drivers with FSD Tesla will still keep their job if Uber goes full autonomous?" No, that is not true. Kevin says, "GigU has become a game changer." Shout out to GigU and to Red Tiger, sponsor of the channels. I'm telling you, I just told you it takes forever to put these videos together, and these sponsors do pay to have me produce content for them. I get emails all the time from potential sponsors of the channel that I do not think are a good fit for this channel. If Uber wanted to sponsor me, I'll take Uber's money or somebody else's. But like a gambling website, maybe if they paid me $1 billion, I don't know. But I'm not looking for sponsors of products that I don't use. I use GigU. I use my Red Tiger dash camera. You see it in every footage of every video I make, every screenshot I take. You see GigU and you see Red Tiger. So it works out really well. And I'm glad it's a game changer for you, Kevin. But why am I doing a live stream today? It is 25,000 subs. Yay. So the channel hit 25,000 subs today. And I thought I would do a live stream to connect with you, because you're part of that 25,000, and I'm super grateful and appreciative. And I wanted to answer your questions. So, um, yeah, okay. So as you can see, I struggle to keep up with the chat, but I see a couple things. William says, congratulations. Thank you so much. Press the likes guy. Heck yeah. Like and subscribe. There you go. Let's see here. Adrian says, hey, Levi, what's going on? Kevin says, congratulations on 25,000 subs. So, Albert Kirk says, sent me 10 joules. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kevin says, hello from North Carolina. I drive in the Pinehurst area. Dude, I love the Pinehurst area. I've got a friend. His name is Matt. He lives down there. He lives in the Village. He's a member of Pinehurst. We've played the par 3 course. Love Pinehurst. I will try to make it down there. If I make it to your area, let's connect. Well, speaking of which, by the way, I'm going to be in Miami September 8th through the 13th. So if you're in Miami or even close to Miami, Tampa, Orlando, I don't know. What if those places are close? Key West, Cuba. I want to connect. I want to connect with you. And we're doing it through Gig U. So Gig U is putting together driver meetups. I think they're going to be on the West Coast too. So Gig U, I don't know if you know this, but they weren't an app when they started. Gig U originally was a place for drivers to meet and connect, use the restroom, get coffee, etc. Gig U was kind of like a home away from home workplace to some extent. Like you could park, go in, get a cup of coffee, and I'm going to learn more when I meet the guys face to face and talk with some of the founders there. But yeah, that's how Gig U started, and then from there they developed an app, and they did this all in Brazil, and then they brought this to the United States. I love the Gig U app. I use it all the time, and it's coming to iPhone. And so we're going to meet up in Miami to announce this release on iPhone. So if you want Gig U on your iPhone, go to the website, sign up on their email list, and as soon as it's ready for the iPhone, they'll email you, and you can go out there and download it. It's a great app. I'm super happy with it. I'm glad they're sponsors. And if you're going to be in Miami, let's connect. September 8th through the 13th. Let's jump back into the questions. Okay, so again, like I say, we had 25,000 subs and on the channel, and I thought I'd do a live stream to kind of connect with everybody. So let me answer the next question. I went through all these questions on the comment section, and I thought I'd answer them here live for you guys. Uber driver cherry picking in Syracuse. He says, how? Question marks. Uber punishes us for cherry picking. They said they are not sending you a trip request because you reject. They want you to be their slave. Okay. I'm not even going to talk about the cherry picking thing because I think we can all drive the way we want to drive. Let me talk about that word slave. Can we talk about that word slave? I do not think gig workers, Uber drivers, Door Dashers are slaves. Now, there are many types of levels of slaves, but if you're in America, slave typically means somebody who's bought and traded from Africa to southern plantations and born and raised in slavery. They're not free people. And to me, it's a mindset. I'm not saying Uber is good. I have my problems with them. There's a real issue with the way the Uber algorithm works, their management at the company, etc. A lot of it is bad, and I talk about it a lot on this channel. But I am a free man. I don't have to do Uber. You don't have to do Uber. So it's offensive when you use the word slave, because there are real humans all around the world who are slaves. For example, there are women, and I assume boys too, men too, that are sex slaves, right? They're prostitutes that are held in slavery by some sort of John. You're not. So that doesn't justify Uber, but let's not use hyperbolic, exaggerated language to talk about our frustrations with the app. Let's be honest. many things can be true at once. You are a free person, especially if you're in America, to go do whatever you want to do. And Uber is a free company and it can offer you whatever it wants to offer. If you choose to do it, you're choosing to do it. Doesn't mean we shouldn't call them out. If something's broken and something's wrong, we need to fix it. And Uber needs to fix it. And that's not what this video is about. I'm just trying to encourage you to take agency and ownership of your own life. So a little bit of a little preacher Levi here. Let's jump into another question here that you sent me. Brad says, 15 seconds. I literally have a split second, maybe less than a half a second to decide, or the ride is taken quicker by another driver, unless it is an exclusive ride, of course. Good point. Uber offers exclusives for me are 15 seconds. If a ride comes in, I've used my phone, I've screen recorded it all, I've timed it. It's roughly 15 seconds from the time the ride comes in to the time it leaves. 15 seconds for an exclusive offer. It is true that if a Trip Radar comes in, I think it lasts roughly the same, but maybe it could go away. And I've had exclusive offers go away too. The person doesn't cancel, but I've had a lot of pushback on this. But he makes another point. Brad says, I literally have a split second. That's why I like GigU. Shout out to Gig. This wasn't meant to be a sales pitch for GigU, but I think a lot of the comments, just reading them, kind of align with that. So there's that. Let's jump into the comment section. Are you guys chatting in the comment section here? Let's take a look at what we got here. What are you guys talking about over there? I'm going to scroll in reverse. Let's see what we got here. Hack says, thank you. My pleasure. I do not accept Trip Radar. Adrian, I don't know why you wouldn't. Most of the most profitable trips that I get come through Trip Radar. I wouldn't avoid them. Jamaica Redfire says, has driver pay bottomed out, or is there still more cuts possible? There is a lot more cuts possible. It can definitely get worse. I just wanted to say thank you, says Adrian. I love GigU. That's great. It's changed the way I've drive, lowered my acceptance rate, but it's okay. I'm getting the data that you provide. That's really cool. Awesome. I really appreciate it. William says, I'm in the bubble of drivers being taken advantage of because driver pool is majority business money illiterate. Potentially. Overused word. Yes, right. Slave. What type of information does GigU ask for? I don't think it asks for any information. I think it asks you for information about like your stuff, but not like private stuff, just so you can set up the app the way you want it. Like, what price do you want to set the rides at and stuff like that. Danny Loop O'Hare says, Levi, love your channel. Great information for us rideshare drivers. Thank you so much, Danny. Again, 25,000 subs. That's why I'm doing a live stream today. And I just wanted to get out there and say thank you. Let's see how many people are watching right now. 33 people. That's really awesome. We've had as many as 45. Invite more people to watch the show right now, the live channel. This is a chance for us to connect. So I really appreciate it. Okay. GigU's been a game changer, says, gosh, that's good here. Evie says, Levi, the GigU app needs time to evaluate. You will not get a response in a split second. Yeah, I know, but GigU will give you an answer in like a second. We're not F1 drivers here. If the ride was so amazing, either you're going to get it or you're not. I don't know if GigU is going to answer the question faster than you'll get it. I know it can do math faster than I can. I assume it can do math faster than most people. Let's answer some more questions here. GigU, solo, gridwise, etc. don't work in my market of 100,000 people. Any suggestions, Levi? That's a good question. Let me see here. I'll put it on the screen. This was from Rail Monkey 69. Oh God. I don't know what that means. All right. So Rail says, these apps don't work in his market. Do I have any suggestions? I try to do, before I had GigU, I would do the time calculation. How long is the trip and how much am I getting paid? So if I'm getting $10 for 20 minutes worth of work, I know it's $30 an hour. And then I let the miles be the miles. I just didn't calculate miles. I don't believe the idea of getting at least $1 per mile. I know a lot of drivers do that, and I understand why they do that. I just don't do it that way. I like time is the more important factor. How much time am I spending on a ride? So that's what I would do. The thing that's most important though, that I found is pickup distance. If you want to get the most profitable trips, the number one thing to key in on is the proximity of the trip to you when you accept it. So if it says it's 1 minute away, odds are that's going to be a really profitable trip. If it says it's 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away, odds are it's probably not a profitable trip. So my advice, Rail, is when a trip comes in and you can't use some sort of calculator to understand how much your profit's going to be, you can do look at pickup distance. If it's really close, 1 to 5 minutes away, it's probably going to be a really good trip. That's my advice on that. Let's see if I can answer another question here. I told you I got a lot of questions. I went out there and just took screenshots of a bunch of them. THA Gile or something like this says, anyone notice that Uber sends less trip requests while quests are active? Now, why did I pick this question? I think it's really interesting. And we can't prove it. Maybe we can. But he asked a question basically accusing, right, Uber of throttling drivers when you're working on a quest. I'm going to give Uber the benefit of the doubt here. Uber wants the ride to get picked up as fast as possible. That is like the number one factor for them. The faster you can pick up a passenger, the better off Uber is going to be. That means they're not going to shop another Lyft app or Walk or anything else. They're going to take the Uber app every single time. So they want the passenger to get picked up. I think the reason why you're getting throttled when a quest comes in is that, well, supply. When you get a quest, other drivers get a quest that incentivizes them to go out and drive. Maybe they weren't planning on driving, so it increases the supply of drivers, but it doesn't increase demand. When a quest goes out, passengers don't know. So a quest, bonuses, surges, hotspots, whatever it might be, these are all things that incentivize drivers to get out, turn the app on, and get to a certain location. That's probably why you're getting less trip requests. That's my gut feeling on that. Let's go back into chat. I really am so grateful for you guys. 25,000 subs today. I thought I'd just throw open a live stream and see if I can connect with each one of you. Let's jump into chat here. It says, Evie says, Levi, the GigU app needs some time. Yes, correct. William says, Levi, how many gig apps do I do a week? 1. I'm an Uber driver. See here, Solo doesn't work in my market either. I used to Dash, utility helper. See here, I use Solo. Sinetta message retracted. Okay, let's see here. Evie Lover, the problem with your time method is it does not account for waiting, traffic, time, and construction. That is true. It doesn't account for that. So if Uber says a trip is 5 minutes away, if you don't know your city well enough, it could be longer away. You have to account for that. But I found that for the most part, at least here in Syracuse, the Uber time map, it all works really well. If I drove in another city, I might have different opinions on that. I drive in and around Austin, so many neighborhoods and choices. I especially love early airport rides. I love that too. Hey, welcome. Thank you for being a Thrive member, Senata. I really appreciate it. How do you say that? Senatia? Sorry. EDU, another Thrive member. Congrats, Levi, on 20,000 subs. 25,000 subs, thank you. It's Edub from Florida. I love the channel. Edub. Hey, Edub, I'm going to be in Miami 8 through 13 September. So it's all set up by GigU. I'm going to be down in Miami. I'd love to connect. There's going to be some driver meetups. Man, I want to connect with you guys, so I appreciate it. This is Tesla Tripping. Congrats on 25,000 subs. Thank you so much. Edgar says, hello, Levi. What is the status? What is status? Are you blue? Are you gold? Are you diamond? I get concerned. Is this true that Uber is going to more strict and punish the cherry pickers? I don't know about that. I can tell you this. I am gold right now. I'm right at 25% acceptance rate. But my status is more a function of how I drive. Because remember, I do experiments. So there are times I take a lot of crap rides, a lot of short crap rides to get up to diamond so I can do an experiment, make a video, and publish that out to you. That might cost me $50, $100 a day to do something like that. if I'm going to go out and drive. So it's not the wisest thing. Is Uber going to throttle cherry pickers? Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I've had like a 1% acceptance rate and still gotten offered trips and made money. So I just don't feel the blue, gold, platinum, diamond status really matters. The only reason why I think it's a benefit to be a diamond driver, there's a couple. I think the airport prioritization is really important. Reservation prioritization works for diamond. And I think the customer support could work a little bit better. So there's that. Let's see here. William says, Levi, another Thrive member again. Thank you so much. What has been the best paying fare distance time in this industry? Okay. Good question. I like that. It's a fun question. Of course, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to tell you a couple of big fares that I've gotten that are going to potentially blow your mind. A year or two ago, I got paid, I think, a $15 surge on top of like a $10 fare. So like $25, $30. And I got a $7 some odd tip. And those numbers could be off, but I'm going to say it was like right around $40, $45. I got paid $40, $45 to take somebody around the block. I arrived, they were standing on the corner. They were like, it's too cold for us to walk. I literally drove them, I don't know, 0.1 mile, like from one end of the block to the other end of the block. They were in the car for 45 seconds. And yeah, I got $45 on that one. Gridwise, they were a sponsor of the channel for at least this video. They sent out a report earlier this year. I took the report, I made a video about it. And in their report, it said, here was the biggest tip in America for UberX last year, or Uber last year. And I looked at that trip. It was a trip from Central New York to New York City. And it said the tip was $170 something tip. That is not true. That tip was actually $250. And the reason why I know that is because it was my trip. Gridwise said the biggest tip in America, according to their data, was this one trip. And I remember that trip. I'll tell you the story. Do you want to hear the story? This is a great story. It was an Uber reservation for like $250 to pick up somebody at a hotel in Central New York in Syracuse to go down to Newark Airport in New Jersey, which is right outside New York City. And when I get to the hotel at like 6 a.m, the lady was really nice. She gets in and she's like, hey, I don't know which airport I'm going to fly out of. It could be JFK, it could be Newark, it could be LaGuardia. Do you mind going to any one of those places? And I didn't. Let me blow my nose. And so it was really interesting. And so I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So, it's like a 4-hour drive. So we're going to get to know each other a little bit, right? She was the agent to a celebrity. I won't tell you which celebrity it was. But if I told you, you know this celebrity. And she was in town because her daughter was considering going to the college. And so, but the celebrity was in New York City booking the flight. And so they weren't sure which flight. They were going to fly from New York to some place in Orlando or Miami or whatever, something like that. And so she wasn't sure exactly where they were going to fly out. But she was on the phone with this person, this celebrity, for a lot of the trip. I even got to meet the celebrity through phone. The celebrity said hello. And so when we arrived, we ended up picking Newark. So we get to Newark Airport. And she's like, I tried tipping you in the app and it didn't work. She goes, will you take cash? And I said, sure. She gave me like $70, $80 in cash, which is great. I was like, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And then as I'm pulling away, another $70 tip came in on the app. And then a second one. So she tipped me twice in the app and then once in cash. I think she didn't know she tipped and it didn't go through. So she did it twice. And yeah, I tried to text her. Well, not text. I found her contact on LinkedIn. She didn't respond. I emailed that celebrity trying to reach her, but she did not respond. So I just accept the cash and a big tip. But it was like $250 tip. It was great. Something like that. My numbers could be off, but it was really funny. There's a video on my channel, The Gridwise Report. Go watch it. I talk about it there. So that was my biggest tip. My biggest fare, I probably got like $300 something to go to New York once or twice. $350 maybe. So there's the one. Let's take a look at your big fares here. Let's see here. UW says congrats on 75,000 subs. Okay, let's see here. Gig you really free to try? I think so. Yeah, Danny, I think it is. I absolutely love doing Uber. 6 years now. Cherry pick only. Pay has hit rock bottom. Yes, it has. Scoop flag. Let's see here. Let's link up in Miami. Heck yeah, Bernard. Come out to when I get more details, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, pay attention to the channel. We're going to Miami. Going to Miami. There you go. That was a dad joke for you. Sorry. I got a ride from Midway, Chicago, to Lincoln Park, 11 miles away for $52. Best trip ever. Nice. That's really awesome. Okay. We're 2 hours into this live stream. 34 people here. What is this live stream for? 25,000 subs. I am super awesome. I'm not super awesome. I'm tired from doing a live stream. You can tell I'm breaking down mentally. Maybe I won't be able to last too much longer. But I signed into my YouTube app and it said 25,000 subs. And I was just blown away. So I thought I'd do a live stream today and just jump on and say thank you to everybody. And that's pretty awesome. So thank you to the Thrive members. Those are the paying members of this channel. I super appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I try to give you guys exclusive content and some behind the scenes access. And I know it's only $4 a month, but it's a lot to me, and it really means a lot, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to the sponsors, Gig U and Red Tiger, for sponsoring the channel. It takes so much work to put some of this content together, and I just really appreciate it. Shout out to the people in the chat right now, all of you out there. That's 43 of you guys. That means so much to me, the fact that somebody would watch this. I really sincerely appreciate it, and this is my way of saying thank you. So today, what I'm trying to do is go through some comments that you've made on the channel and answer your comments here in this live chat. So let me see. Maddie Dell to North to Port Florida about 7 years ago, $1,700. Bruce Smith, what the heck? Maddie Dell too. Well, who goes from Maddie Dell to Florida? That's a funny thing. Maddie Dell's a little neighborhood in Syracuse, so right next to the airport. All right, let's go back to your comments that you sent me in the on the channel. How do you get how do you get your app to show your active hours? I use Samsung S24 Ultra. It's so funny. I always read more into the question than the question asks, but let me answer the question really quickly. You can't. Either Uber or Lyft, they're going to show you the active time or they're not. Here's how it happened for us here in Central New York. We never saw active time. We only saw online time for the longest time. Then about 2 years ago, the state of New York passed a law saying Uber drivers are going to make a minimum wage. It has not worked out well for us. You do not want that in your market, but we did. But they said, oh, by the way, we'll pay you sick time. And there's this convoluted way to earn sick time. And it's, again, not worth it. But it is what it is. So we get sick time. But they used your active time to calculate it. And I was like, hey, you don't show us active time. And I made video after video about it. And I contacted a few people and Uber put it on. Like 2-3 days later, they put active time on there. So that's how we have active time. It is not a function of anything other than the app operates differently depending on which city you're in. That's really how it works. Wish I had a better answer for you. Okay, next question. Widowed says, a massive ripoff. There's power in no. If I can get at least $1 per mile, what is the point? Okay. Now, massive ripoff. There's power in no. I think that second sentence is everything. Widowed, trio, freedom. What a great handle name. there's power in no. I think no is numbers. Maybe, I don't think so. I think it's no. I think it's the word no. I'm going to read it that way. That's why I read it when I selected this comment. There's power in the word no. There's power in your ability to see an offer come in from Uber and not be distracted by all the things that are going on within that offer, but do the calculation, do the things that you need to do to decide if that trip is worth it or not. Don't feel pressured to take it. Just say no. And I think it's even more than that. Who are the people that say no? People that are confident in who they are and what they're doing. I'm a yes man, so I need to do a better job of saying no. But the people that you know who are highly successful in this world do a really good job of just saying no. And it's not even no to other people. It's no to distractions. When the Uber app sends you offers that you don't like, don't take them. Don't feel obligated to do it. Do something else. But it's also no to other distractions. This phone right here and my other phone, I took TikTok off of them because I'm addicted to the TikTok app. It's super fun to scroll for hours and hours and hours. And I finally just deleted them off of my phone. Now I can still use TikTok on my computer because I'm a content creator and I get paid by TikTok if I make a video that goes viral. So I try to get paid. But I don't doom scroll like I used to. I still look at videos on TikTok on my computer, but it's not the same experience. And I find myself looking at just a couple of videos and moving on with my life instead of scrolling for hours and hours and hours. Power of no. It's about self-control. I lack a lot of it. You can see I'm a fat dude. I say yes to a lot of people. But widowed trio freedom, I think that's what you meant by that, but that's how I'm taking it. Kudos to you. Super good. I appreciate it. Let me go back into the chat, see what's going on in the chat. Bruce says, if you Google Uber Yearbook 2022, I think that was what that trip was for. There's power in the name of Jesus. Heck yeah, Mookie. Amen. Let's do it. For those that don't know, I am a Christian. So it's hard for me to say, not because I don't believe it or whatever else it is, but I know that holds me to a higher standard because when you hear me curse, when I sin and I fall short, I'm pretty embarrassed because I talk about my faith, but I am. So Mookie, shout out to you. Amen. Great show, Levi. Have a great night. Thanks so much, Scoop, for being on there. Got $180 tip 2 weeks ago. That's awesome, Scoop. CMD says, is GigU an app? Yes, it is. I click on your link. It tells me I have to be a beta tester. That is correct. It's not on iPhone yet. It is coming out to iPhone soon. Let's see here. Could you do a video on how to use GigU? I should do that, shouldn't I? Maddie Dell, let's see here. Could you do a video on how to use GigU? Okay, so there's that. John says hello. The Canada says, Levi, ever hike over the Rand Track Park? I used to hike up there with my dog when I lived in Onondaga. No, I never have. I don't hike anywhere. I do go for a lot of walks here in Cazenovia, though, where I live. Let's jump back over to your questions. So I'm going to go over here. Again, I went through, in honor of the 25,000 subs, I decided to go through all of your comments on the YouTube channel and answer questions that I thought were really interesting as kind of like a live stream, as a way to connect. How do I get tips as an Uber driver? Now, I made this video 3 years ago. This video is so old. But I said, how do you get tips as an Uber driver? And it says, you swapped 1 week summary with the big tips at the last minute for one ride reset showing how much smaller tip, huh? I think what he's doing, there's a couple of things going on. Lynn Fan Death or whatever says, is that I'm doing some movie magic in the video, tricking people. I don't do that. But here's how to get tips. In fact, this will be the last question I'll answer of here. Then I'll go back into the live chat and live stream and ask. So go to the live stream, into the chat, and tell me where you're driving, what kind of car you're driving, and ask any question. Answer the questions. You guys can talk amongst yourself. You don't need me to answer it. But here's how to get tips. Number one, you have to have a clean car. You don't have to, but you should. Have a clean car. Number 2, drive professionally. Be a limousine driver. What does that mean? Accelerate slowly, don't corner crazy, and slowly brake. You don't want the person back there moving around. Pretend the passenger has a big bowl of soup. You don't want them to spill that soup. Drive like you don't want them to spill that soup. The third thing, I think the thing that drivers kind of talk about, the third thing is customer service, loading bags, being a yes man. If the passenger asks, I just said the power in the word no, but if a passenger asks for anything, once they're in the car, I'll do whatever they want. I don't really care. I'm pretty lenient. If the passenger wants to go a different direction, get dropped off a certain place, whatever it is, I'm down for it. For the passenger to be the best driver I can, customer service wise. The fourth thing I think a lot of drivers like to lean on is talking. All right. I don't think that necessarily gets you tips as much as you think it does. I'm a talker. I'm 2.5 hours into a live stream here. So I do like talking. But I think if you really want to connect with a passenger, because that's what you're really saying, is that the two of you bonded in certain ways. The better way to do it is bond by trying to think about what they want. That passenger sitting right back there. Sometimes the passenger wants to talk. So they ask you questions and you answer. But I would challenge you to be a better listener. If you can listen to the passenger by what they're saying and what they're not saying, you're probably going to connect and bond with them better. I've bonded human to human with passengers that we said 1 or 2 words the entire ride. But I know that they felt safe. It's like, imagine like a late night drive, especially like a young college student, a girl or whatever. They don't want to get killed. And they have these horrible fantasies, or not fantasies, but nightmares of Uber drivers being mass murderers or whatever and going to kidnap them. So when they order an Uber, we don't talk, but I have the music set just right. I have lights in the car, not to entertain, but like it's bright enough so they can see my face. Like when they're walking up to the car, I turn my light on so they can see my face. And just by letting them sit on their phone and being kind, you still get a lot of tips. But here's the real thing. That video that I'm looking at with this comment, I'm a huge fan of tipping. I think tipping is one of the great things in America. I know people are anti-tipping culture. I have the exact opposite opinion. I tip at kiosks. I love tipping. Tipping is great. But how do you get a tip as an Uber driver? Think about the transaction. A person goes in their phone. They go, I need to get from point A to point B. Let me order an Uber. I just ordered an Uber. Levi is on his way. He'll be there in 5 minutes. They put their phone in their pocket, or maybe they start swipe to another app. Levi shows up. They get a notification. They walk out to the car. They get in the car. Then they go open TikTok, or they call their mom or whatever, or they talk to their friends. They're in the car. They don't open the Uber app again. Even if they get a notification from Uber, they're not going to open the app again until typically they order the next Uber. So what I try to do, as tastefully as possible, is if the passenger is in the car with me and we've got about a minute or two till we arrive to to their destination, I'll say something like, hey, thank you so much. If you can get a chance before this ride is over, that's key. Before this ride is over, can you go back into the Uber app and leave me a rating? Those stars really do help, and I would really appreciate it. It means so much to me. Please don't forget. That incentivizes them to open the Uber app, give me 5 stars if I've earned it, and then for the most part I have, and then Uber is going to ask them, do you want to leave Levi a tip? That's it. By asking for that rating before the ride is over, while they're still in the car, prompting them to go back into the app, it is a great way to increase your tips because people go back in there. Now, right now, I'm getting tipped on about 60 to 70% of all of my trips. I'm taking $5 rides with college kids and still getting $1 tip, $2 tip. This week, just so you know, I'll show you my numbers because I think everybody's always curious. What are my numbers? I haven't driven too much yet this week. I've driven 12 hours, I believe. Let's see here. I will show you my numbers. And you might get better tips than me, so I'm not trying to make this as like I'm better than anybody. I have earned $290 in fares on 28 trips and 76 tips. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but there you go. There's my numbers right there for this week. $76 in tips on $290 in fares on 28 trips. Of those 28 trips, I think the number is 16 have tipped me. So 12 have not. I think that's the number. And I take a lot of short rides. Now, I think there's some other things that you can do, though, to earn tips. So we talked about those 5 things, and I love tipping stuff. So you hit a hot topic here for me. Okay, tipping. You can also earn more in tips by the passengers that you pick up. An airport trip versus a McDonald's trip is more likely to tip you. Now, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed a tip on an airport trip or you're not going to get a tip on a McDonald's trip. But if you're taking somebody from their apartment to McDonald's to work, if you get a $1 tip, it's amazing, right? It's good. And I do get those tips. But an airport trip is more likely to tip you. Here's another thing. I take a lot of reservations, 1 to 2 reservations a day for the most part. I use reservations to kind of coordinate my day. The reservations that I focus on are long airport reservations from the middle of nowhere country, early in the morning, Uber comfort, and here's the final thing, 5-star passenger. I've done the math. I've got a video out there for it. I'm telling you right now, passenger rating is the biggest signal on whether you're going to get a tip or not. It is the biggest signal. A passenger rated 4.95 is twice as likely to tip as a passenger rated 4.85. I've done the math. I did 150 rides in 1 week. I kept all the data. And every time, I'm telling you right now, set your trip filter passenger rating to 4.9 because you're just going to get more tips. If you take a 4.7, you're less likely to get a tip. You're still, if you now, then don't set that filter if you aren't getting rides. If you need a ride, you need a ride. But if you pick up at a nice hotel, if you pick up in the suburbs, if you pick up at the airport, drop off at the airport, you do reserved rides, airport rides, comfort rides, highly rated passengers, long trips, you're going to get more in tips than short, low rated passengers from an apartment to, I don't know, McDonald's. I'm using McDonald's negatively. I'm going to go to chat. Let's see what you guys are talking about in chat. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is there a better way to get tips? I am such a huge fan of it. It matters so much to me and my brand and everything else about it. Okay, let's see here. Hunt for Red October. Yeah, that was great. That's right. That's Sean Connery with a beard. I forgot about that. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Can you do a video on the best way to set your Red Tiger camera up? How many cameras do you have when you order it? How many cameras do you get when you order it? I can get access to any Red Tiger camera. It's pretty good. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to Washington State has sick time and online time, but no active time. Interesting. You should fight for that one. There's power in the name of Jesus. Again, Mookie, thank you so much. I say no way more than yes. That's right, Scoop. That's the way to do it. Let's see here. J-Dog says, use an Australian accent and record it. It would be super funny. No. No. Is that how Australians say no? Sean Connery, even better. Oh, how does it? What is Sean Connery's line? One ping only. There you go, J Dog. Uh, EDU says, can you do a video on the best way to set up your Red Tiger cameras? How many Red Tigers can you get when you order it? Again, like the Red Tiger is very generous. They send me cameras all the time to test, and I try to give them away to drivers. Maybe I should do something like that. But how do I set up the Red Tiger camera? I focus. This is my way of doing it, not the correct way. I have a Tesla. So if my car gets into an accident, Tesla captures all the cameras. There's like 8 of them in the Tesla camera. I'm not too worried about an accident. The Red Tiger camera that I set up is really for me as an Uber driver inside the car. So I focus the camera more toward my face and I focus it so I could see the person right here at the back. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Here's my Red Tiger camera that I'm using right now. Sorry if you could see it. Red Tiger's camera right here, it moves. So you can wiggle it to point to wherever you want. So it doesn't really matter how I set it up on the windshield. This thing moves and I can point it wherever I want it. So I have it pointed in thirds, big on my face and on the person right there. And I try to get my passenger to always sit in this spot. I do have the F17 Elite Red Tiger. It actually has a third camera that points out the back. I ran it through the upper lighting here, but the Tesla has a glass roof. So I mounted, instead of it pointing out the back of the car, because I don't need that, I mounted that camera here on the glass roof, pointing it down into the back side of the car. I use that for safety because I can't see the passenger sitting right behind me, no matter how I set my dash camera up. And so that camera is pointing down at them so I could see into the floor of the car and the entire backseat area. That's how I have it set up. You know what, EDU, I'm going to bring, if you go to Miami, I'm going to bring some Red Tiger cameras down there. I'm going to see if I can get Red Tiger to give me some cameras and I'm going to bring them to the meetup. So we'll do that. J-Dog Sean, is that you? Do you check the Uber app while you're golfing? A horrible question, Jamaica, because yes, I do. I check the Uber app a million times a day. It's horrible. Yes, I tip more because of your channel and people love it. Yeah. J-Dog, do you pre-tip? That's when you know you're a grown adult male for the most part. But you know, old men, we get money clips. I have a money clip. You have a money clip? I don't have a lot of money in there, maybe $50, $100 at a time, but I have a money clip. When I go to a restaurant, and I don't go very often, but when I do, I sit down. It doesn't matter how much the food's going to be, because I don't go to expensive restaurants, but let's say I'm going to Chili's and it's just me and my wife or whatever. I literally will hand the waiter or waitress $20 when I sit down and I say, this is for you. Thanks. Keep the ice cold. That's it. And they're constantly focusing on my table. I know I'm going to tip them $20 anyway. Why not just do it up front? And it changes their demeanor. See, people are worried about getting bad service. I'm saying if you pre-tip, you don't get bad service. So there's a clever way to do it. J-Dog says, let's see here. Before I used to just throw the change on the floor. Yeah, just kidding, of course. Let's Be Something says, hi, Levi, catching up on Happy. You hitting 25,000. Thank you so much. Cape Cod. Oh, man, I would love to go to Cape Cod. It's just something about that Northeast area is kind of interesting to me. I've never been there, but we're talking about Hunt for Red October, right? So that's kind of like part of that. Reverse psychology. 90% of my rides tip. Whoa. Scoop, that's amazing. There's nothing I could do to catch that. That's so awesome. Way to go, Scoop. Danny says, Levi, can you get banned for using GigU for Uber and Lyft? No, you cannot get banned for using GigU. Here's what the Uber app or the terms of service say. You cannot use an app to pick the trips for you. That means like you can't use an app that actually automatically accepts the trip for you. You can use an app to determine the calculation of a trip though. For example, on this phone right here, I have GigU, correct? And it calculates how much the trip is going to be for me. It takes the fare, multiplies it by the number of minutes, divides it by the number of minutes, I should say. Then it figures out the miles and the cost and tells me here's how much you're going to profit on a trip. In fact, let me pull up a trip. This is what GigU shows me. Let's see here. This is how I have my GigU app set up. That's not it. That's not it. Let's see if I can get one. Because it takes automatic screenshots, but sometimes the screenshot doesn't come in until after the... I think this one works. Yeah, here you go. So it looks like that. Okay, so this trip, $6.22. Let's see if I can hold it up. I'm trying to look at my screen. It's delayed, so bear with me here. So $6.22 for a 7-minute trip, give or take. But see right there, it says the trip is $32 in profitability per hour. And you see how it's green? But the passenger's rating is 4.85. This is an example of a trip that I get all the time. I can decide whether I want to take it or not. But it's green. All I do is I look at my phone when the ride comes in, and if it looks green, that means it's probably a good financial trip. Then I can decide, is it worth it to go from downtown to the airport in Ithaca? So, okay, you asked me the question, will GigU or Uber kick you off the app for using GigU? And according to their terms of service, GigU doesn't violate their terms of service. It's a calculator. I'm pretty sure there's a calculator on this phone. I don't know. I don't really use this phone too much besides GigU on this phone. Yeah, there you go. Calculator. Can Uber kick you off for using a calculator? No. Now, I say that. Warning. Uber and Lyft can kick you off their app at any time for any reason they want. So they could kick you off the app because you're using GigU, but then just tell you we're kicking you off the app because we got too many drivers in your market. I don't know. I mean, they could do that. Now, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of drivers all across the U.S. using GigU and Solo and other apps. They're not being kicked off of that. The reason why you get kicked off the Uber app is because you're a safety risk. So be a safe driver and you won't get kicked off the app. All right, let's see here. Cadence, I'm a 4.83 and I always tip. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. A 4.83 doesn't mean you're not a tipper, but a 4.83 rating means drivers have consistently said something's wrong. My assumption is this: you're late to the pickup. Like, I show up and you're not standing there on the curb, I'm already thinking about negatively rating you. So there's that. Your tip philosophy is spot on. Thank you, Evie. I appreciate it. Exactly how I roll, says Scoop. Alex says, I'm curious, why does the Uber seem to pay less per mile the farther the ride goes? I drive in San Bernardino, California. I pretty much stopped taking long distance rides. Yeah, because their calculation for a ride is time and miles. That's why. EDU says, sweet. No, okay, I think you're talking about the Red Tiger cameras. If you can't get an Uber, you are a stinker. Yeah. I think a lot of times people get low ratings because they're late or they smell. And they're rude. I get like business travelers that are really rude. I don't need you to talk to me as an Uber passenger, but as we're trying to get you in the car and get everything ready to go and you get in my car, if you're already on the phone, you don't just like put the call on hold for a second and just say, hey, my name is Bob. I'm like, my name is Levi. You good to go? And then get driving. But if you don't even stop talking, don't even make eye contact. I've had people get in my car. They're on their business call and they sit down and they go like this. I'm like looking at them. I'm like, are you Bob? Yeah. And like, they just totally, if they don't recover from that, like let's say the call ends somewhere on the ride and they say, hey, thanks for letting me take that call. I'm typically going to rate them negatively because I think it's just rude. So there's that. Let's see here. Baba says, so the pro perk is nonsense at this point. I think so. Well, I think it's been 2.5 hours. This has been a good live stream. 25,000 subs to the channel. I am super forever grateful. It means so much to me. It's been a lot of work. The channel's been out there for 4 years. I've been working on it for 3. It's a lot of work to maintain a YouTube channel and social media presence. The videos take hours and hours and hours. Lynn, I'll stay in here. Lynn, if you're going to stay here, I'll stay here, Lynn. Why would I not want to hang out with Lynn? But 25,000 subs is a big number. And I remember like when I got 100 subs, it was like my mom and me and my sisters. It was hard work. You're spending hours making a video to get like 100 people to watch it. It's just a lot of work. And I wanted to do a live stream, so I just literally turned it on, and I'm trying my best to do live streams more often. It's difficult. It's a challenge. I like editing videos and making videos. I don't like rambling for hours. So I try to put together an agenda to that. Michael, I'm looking at the chat. He says, "Do you use FSD?" All the time. FSD is so safe, and it's amazing. Yeah, so I use FSD all the time. Danny goes, you're amazing, Levi. Thanks for the great videos. Thank you so much. That means a lot. You've always seemed to express what I've had in my mind driving. Danny, I'm going to leave this chat. Give me a chance to rant for a second here. Not rant. Talk heart to heart here for a second. Can I pull the camera in a little bit? Sound effects for effect. I'm going to get in close here. See how close I am. I'm going to take a look here. All right. Now it's just me and you guys. The people that have survived this chat, this live stream all the way to here. There are really good YouTube Uber driver content creators. I think of Sergio, Chris, Torsten, Driver Eddie's one of my favorites. Tristan does a good job. Lynn, Matt, and the team over at Drivers Coast to Coast. Oh, Lynn, thank you for the $9. $10. I appreciate it. Yeah, but Matt, Lynn, sometimes Chuck, sometimes me over on Drivers Coast to Coast over on X. I think there's a lot of content creators that can give you a lot of really good advice. This channel, what I'm trying to do here is get to the heart of what it's like being an Uber driver. I want to get to the heart of what it's like working alone under an algorithm in strange seats or streets at night with people that you don't know. Being alone, that's a lot of what Uber driving is like. Being alone. You're in your car. It's 2 a.m. You're sitting on some corner in your city, hoping for another ride. You get another drunk person. Uber is not there for you to help. You don't have other drivers to help. Your spouse, like my wife, is questioning, why on earth would you be doing this? And it's so weird because you're with people all day. Strangers in and out of your car. Good conversations, bad conversations. People that smell bad. People that tip you really nice. It's this hodgepodge, this randomness of the whole thing. I like it. I like it a lot. So when you talk about Michael's or Danny's, like, you always seem to express what I have in my mind. I'm thinking about when I'm driving. That's exactly what's happening. I am in my car thinking a lot, and I want to just put those words out there. I want to make those videos. The frustration of dealing with an algorithm or a smelly passenger. If you need driver advice, I try to make videos that help. But the truth is, you are you. You're a unique individual. You drive in a unique city that I don't drive in. You drive a car that I don't drive. You drive at times that I don't drive. You're a female, I'm a male, whatever. You're young, I'm old. You drive at night, I drive during the day. There's so many variables. You like to go to the airport, I like to go to college campuses. The idea that some driver, some content creator is going to tell you exactly what you need to hear to make money, it's probably not going to happen. Now, like with any good learning experience, you can watch a lot of the content creators and put together your own strategy. That's what I'm trying to do. So I want my content to resonate not only with Uber drivers, but it's kind of like if you're an Uber driver, let's say you're a male. I know there's a lot of female ones, but you're a male. I want you to show your wife, if you have a spouse or wife, hey, watch this guy's channel. You ever want to know what it's like to be an Uber driver? Levi. He embodies what I feel like. So Torsten, Sergio, Chris, the rideshare guy, rideshare professor, Tristan, Drivers Coast to Coast, Driver Eddie, I think what they do a really good job of is telling you how to drive. I want people to watch my channel and to know what it feels like to be a driver. That's what it's like. Kathleen, good to see you. Hey, welcome to the chat. So that's what I'm trying to create content for. So it doesn't mean I'm not trying to give advice, but I'm really cautious about it because my situation is unique and your situation is unique. And it's just hard for me. I don't want you to do what I do because I tell you to do it. I want you to listen to what I do and see if it works for you. But I really would love for you to share my videos with your family. When they go, why are you an Uber driver, Bob? And you're like, watch Levi's video. This is what it's like being an Uber driver. So 25,000 subs is kind of a little bit of a validation that's a little bit working. And I'm humbled by it. And the fact that I know so many of your names, Kathleen and Lynn and Scoop, Eric, $25,000 UC seed would have turned into a $35,000 big tipper. You can drive friends to the airport. That's true. Eric is always pushing for the private ride business, and I don't blame him. He's making so much money. But Baba, I know you guys. It's so weird. Sergeant Pepper says, I love watching your videos for information. I do the Uber and Fargo. Just watch that movie again. It's been pretty good, but I've noticed DoorDash has been having better payouts for smaller amount of miles. Good. So I see your names, and I wish I knew your real name. I wish I knew your real face. 25,000 subs. So kind of, again, the big news, other than the 25,000 subs, is that September 8th through the 13th, I'm going to be in Miami with the Gig U team to do some driver meetups face to face. And I want to see you there. If you're in Miami, Orlando, Key West, I don't know. I don't know how far it takes to get from those cities, but I want to connect with you at these driver meetups. And so shout out to Gig U for sponsoring, Red Tiger for sponsoring Dash Camera, and 25,000 subs. Any final questions in the chat before I call it quits here? I really appreciate everything. It says, Alex says, hey, Levi, have you ever had to kick somebody out of your car? If so, what did they do that made you decide to kick them out? I don't think I've ever kicked anybody out of my car. Have I wanted to kick people out of my car? Yes, but I've never kicked anybody out of my car, and I've never blocked anybody on any social media app either. So there you go. We'll leave it at that. Lynn, thank you so much for the gift, and everybody else that gave the gift and have joined. And I see that Akam became a member. I appreciate that. That's super awesome. Drivers, join Thrive. It's $4 a month. If you can't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Join the Facebook group on Facebook. It's called Thrive. It's free. It's for drivers only. If you want to talk other subjects, you can connect with me on X or Facebook, LinkedIn. I talk business. And I want you to make as much money as possible, but I want you to be safe, healthy, and happy. I want you to enjoy the ride. Don't do this gig if it's not worth it. But I want you to know I am cheering for you. I really, truly am. My name is Levi Spires. This is the Tip You in the App YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, take care, everybody. Bye.